Up, everybody? This is Will with 10-4 Broadcasting, joined with my co-host Mike, and we're bringing you the High Octane Sim series here. We are live from Talladega, and we are going to see who is going to take the prize tonight. We're a little late to the broadcast. We missed the qualifying session, but it looks like Bledsoe is going to be taking the pole right behind Riley Hoots, and Riley really held it down last week's race there, Mike, and we're excited to be joined again by my co-host here at the High Octane Sim Series. And Mike, what are you looking out for in tonight's race, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I mean, last week we seen these guys put on a great performance, great action all around. Ended up being a few mileage race at the end. This week, definitely looking forward to hopefully the same thing.
Keep an eye out for that fuel mileage. I know when Talman won last week, he actually ran out of gas on the start-finish line. So keep an eye out for those strategies, because this last week's race was very exciting here in the High Octane Sim Series. It was high octane, no pun intended there. We are in for another high octane and competitive race here at Talladega. These embankments give way to three wide passes on the corners and also fast on the backstretch and front stretch. So keep an eye out for those guys here tonight. And keep an eye out for Riley Hoots. He is outside of the top 10 in points here. I know I mentioned his name a lot because him and those good wrench machines dominated Chicagoland last week, but unfortunately didn't get to put one of those cars into victory lane. But he is outside the top 10 in points, and he's really starting to build up the consistency that we like to see here at 10-4 Broadcasting. But it is up to him to put that car in victory lane, and he looks like he is rocking that rainbow paint scheme here tonight. Awesome to see if that 24 machine ends up in victory lane. But running through that starting grid there, Mike, if you want to run the viewers through that starting grid and see what we got going on for Talladega.
Definitely for the Alexis Lemonade Stand 200. This is race 6. We got Kevin Burlock sitting on the pole with Riley Hoots in P2. That rookie, we talked about him last week, Nick Offord, P3. Alex Talman sit P4. P5 is Alan Bledsoe, followed by Zachary Compton in P6.
She was outside of the top.
Alan. P7 is Keith Fallon, followed by Darren Straff. Again, we apologize if we get your names wrong. Rounding at the top 10 is Nicholas Compton in P9 and Derek Schilling in P10.
Left off there, Mike. Matthew Batby is our points leader. He is starting off P11 here tonight, and David Funky Cole Medina is starting off P12. Next page there, starting off in P13, looks like James Brosker. Starting P14, Bob Carroll. Bob Carroll had a really good race last week. That 27 machine, unfortunately, just ran a little bit short there at the end. Jumping to P15, it's going to be Nick Shell. P16 is going to be Robert King. P17 is going to be Eli Raposa. P18 is going to be Kelly Thomas. P19 is going to be Riley Lewis. And bringing up the rear field, it looks like it's going to be Derek Lane. Or Line. And that rounds out your starting grid here at Talladega. It looks like we got a pace truck this week, Mike, and not the pace car.
Oh, this is going to definitely be a good one. A lot of people back there.
It sure is, and we are about to go racing here, boys, in a High Octane Sim Series, and the green flag is about to drop. Let's go racing, let's go green, green, green. It was quite the long way to the start-finish line here for Deegan, but these boys are ready to go here in the High Octane Sim Series, and let's go racing. Maybe the flag staying down is waiting with the green flag, and we are about to drop the green flag here in High Octane Sim Series, and let's go racing. We already see a change on the lead there on the backstretch. Looks like Riley Hoots has taken out that lead on the outside. Coming down into 3 and 4. It's going to be Hoots in last week's winner, Talman. Oh, a big move onto the corner there. Inside. Big Red Bullet trying to make that pass there on the inside. No, Talman is now the leader here. Talman is picking up where he left off at Chicago Lane. Looks like he might lead. Oh, a big pass there on the front stretch. So Bullock is going to lead the first lap here at Talladega. Already aggressive driving already in this high-octane sim series.
I see a familiar number, 24, trying to push that 62 to the front. And one thing I noticed in these type of races is, especially in this car, it's actually the high side. It's actually the fastest line around this track. Even though people you see, go to the low line, it's always going to get to the low yellow line. Make sure no one passes you below the yellow line. That is the out of bounds. As you see the outside line, I apologize. Trying to make a move.
I believe, Mike, that Alford is not a rookie in this series. He is actually the commissioner of the High Octane Sim Series. I believe that is a joke that he put the rookie moniker next to his name, but he is definitely not racing like a rookie here tonight in that 22 machine. He is right behind last week's winner, Alex Tolman, who really was in the right place at the right time. And kept his car right up there in the lead pack with those good rich machines, and once those boys ran into some trouble, he slid right up there and took home the victory and put that Dr. Pepper machine in victory lane. But it looks like he's rocking a new paint scheme, and as we're giving him the commentator's curse, it looks like there is a new pass for the lead, and Bullock and Riley Hoots are leading that charge on the outside lane down into 3 and 4 is Bullock leading the way, and that Riley Hoots is digging to the inside looking for that pass, but he is wisely going to file right behind Bullock. Looks like Bullock is going to lead the way here on lap 3 at Talladega. Taking a look at some of the cars there in the back of the pack there. Looks like the 45 machine of Staff. He was another car that ran really good last week, but just got caught up in some late race accidents and just ran out of room, really, Mike. And we saw that in Chicagoland. It was a gas mileage race, but also pit stops played a key factor in that, and reshuffling of the field played a big factor. There was a lot of playing catch up in last week's race.
Most definitely. We also see teammates work together. This track definitely is track. Definitely makes a great teammate. On board, there's Scrap.
Teamwork does indeed make the dream work, as we're watching in-car camera here of Darren Staff. This in-car camera review is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll take a ride along with him and see what is going on here on the backstretch. We are seeing very competitive action already. These boys are not taking any time to get comfortable in the sim. They are racing for this lead. We have seen already a few lead changes as I'm speaking. Riley Hoots is now our new race leader on the outside lane there. He might get his first lead lap here. If we're looking at the drag race to the start-finish line, it's going to be Riley Hoots 5 laps in here. Is going to be leading the way. Taking a ride along with Kevin Bullock here. He's 49 years old and he loves sim racing. Don't we all, though? We take a look at Riley Hoots slinging that fender, that back bumper right in front of him down into the corner here. He's going to lead the charge on the backstretch. But look at Kevin Bullock. He is taking his time. He is taking Sensei's advice and being calm with it. He is not over-aggressive. He's not pushing. He's just keeping his lane. As you see, Riley Hoots jam that back bumper right in his front fender again. Down into 3 and 4, and he is getting a good look at that back bumper, that 24 machine. Definitely going to give some William Byron there. Shout out to him for picking up the victory last week. But that car does give me that Jeff Gordon vibe and that Rainbow Warrior, right?
Definitely. Going back, my favorite driver was Gordon, but then I always rooted for Earnhardt on the super speedways. But I don't know, there's just something about it. That car, just the memories. As we see the AOL version of the car, that 3 car there, driven by James Brosker. It's like a Steve Park type style paint speedway. As we see teammates working together here. And unlike last week, where it wasn't so bunched up, just this week, you know, we see pack racing. Everybody's all together, which means one mistake, definitely take out the whole field.
It surely will. We saw that last week, Mike. The Goodwrench machines were making that dream work with the teamwork, but they got... Oh, we're seeing action on the backstretch already. We see a few cars hit the inside wall. We are under caution here at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series. Wow, we have a car flipping upside down. A lot of cars caught up in this action on the backstretch. Looks like Keith Fallon is one of those cars. Ran really good last week at Chicagoland. Getting caught up here in an early accident at Talladega. Man, what a wreck.
Really? Come on, guys.
We'll be sure to rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay whenever we get a chance to do so. That action came pretty quick there, Mike, and we see this out of this high-octane sim series. They take no time getting on that pedal and making those moves.
Definitely. I mean, we talked about it, you know, one mistake. That was a mistake that cost it. Pull up the replay right about now.
I thought every lane change I made was safe.
Apologize. Pulling it out. There we go.
This replay is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. Oh, man. Just a few cars just getting loose on that backstretch, Mike.
Someone got tapped just a tad bit. Yep, looks like he came up on the 20. Thought he was clear.
Yeah, I can't get this thing over 130 at the moment, so.
Already a wreck. We are only 8 laps in here at the High Octane Sim Series, live from Talladega. And man, we saw it last week, Mike. I think we were only about a lap and a half in. We had our first caution, but they kind of simmered down after that. And we'll see it out of these boys. You'll see that aggressive run starting to take place. Taking a look at the action again here on the backstretch, we'll see exactly what happened between these cars. But this is a long race, Mike. We saw it last week. Even though cars were caught up in an early accident or early incidents, doesn't mean your race is totally over.
That's definitely true. But here we're talking a totally different racetrack. Super speedway compared to a speedway, to be honest with you.
This is true, and Talladega is one of those tracks where you want to get your car out in that open air. You don't want to have to deal with any of that traffic. And we'll see it here in this race. Once those lap cars starting to come into play, you'll see what all comes out of this race. But as we like to do so under caution, we do want to give a special shout out to our sponsors of tonight's event. And I believe one of those sponsors, Mike, makes us hungry every time we talk about it.
Definitely, it's Captain Jack's Smokehouse.
Captain Jack Smokehouse barbecue and steak, Mike. You can't get any better than that.
Oh, definitely. I could go some barbecue steak right now.
That makes me hungry just thinking about it. Go check them out. Also, one of our big sponsors of tonight's event is Octane Racing. Go give them a shout as well. Octane, and then High Octane Sim Series is a big title sponsor of this Cup Series here, bringing you the most competitive drivers of the High Octane Sim Series. They also run an Xfinity Series here in this league, but we are with the big boys, the big dogs, if you will, Mike, and they are showing what they got tonight at Dega, and we're seeing that these boys are wasting no time, even though we got 150 laps.
Definitely, as we see pit stops, a bunch of people up spots here on pit road from the start of the race. It looks like Ray Lewis is up 15 spots from the start of the race. Again, super speedway racing, totally different type of action. As you see the 20 looking like a modified.
Taking a look here, we got 150 laps here in tonight's action. We are under caution for the first time in tonight's event. We have a pace truck, so a change of pace at the top there, leading the field. But we have a new leader on the track, and that is Bledsoe in that 42 car. And Bledsoe, he's another car that ran that good wrench paint scheme, that tribute to Kevin Harvick last week. Ran really consistent there, Mike, but just got caught up and lost his pace with the rest of his teammates.
Yeah, definitely. He looked poised to win last week, but as they say, the money wasn't there.
It was not, and Mo money is Mo problems. Shout out to Biggie Smalls there, but we'll see if whoever holds the bag here at the end, as we see the lights are off of the pace truck, and we are about to go green again here live at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series. This action is being brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. If you're liking what you're seeing, go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And we are going to be back under green here momentarily as the boys are going to ride to the start-finish line.
As my reports from down pit road, looks like the top 7 did pit, or did not pit. So we're looking at 8th on back. That did come on down for tires, fuel, some damage, if they haven't. As we see it drop to the 20. Looks like the 20 might be coming down pit road here. Oh, trying to get back in line. Like, I believe it's Riley Hoots is your race leader.
You see that pace truck go ahead and lose its pace. It's seeming to pull down pit road here, but we have Bledsoe and Hoots, the 1-2 punch, leading the way to the start-finish line here. We're back to go back on the grid here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. It is quite a race to that start-finish line, but let's go racing, boys. It's green, green, green.
Pack led by the 42 and Alan Bledsoe and Riley Hoots.
Like I mentioned during the initial stages of our broadcast here, Riley is actually outside of the top 10 in points, so he really needs to start stacking up these consistent finishes to put himself in a great position. We saw it last week out of him. I believe he finished top 3 in last week's event, but
we do have a caution.
We do have a caution on the track, our second caution of the race, Mike.
Don't see anything coming up. Indicated that we have a caution for a wreck.
We have a phantom caution, as NASCAR likes to throw. We don't see many of those in the series anymore as we have those stage breaks. It looks like we are going to be under caution.
League officials decided to
give everybody a chance to revamp and get everything together here. Maybe a car lost pace that we just didn't see at the back of the pack. We see a few damaged cars running in the back of the pack there. But Mike, I'll go ahead and get your input here as we're under caution here for the second time in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. And Mike, for people that are unfamiliar, I know it's hard to be unfamiliar with Talladega, but for people that are unfamiliar with it, What is the strategy as a racer going into the corners, the straightaway, and what are the things that you have to look out for as you're racing in traffic?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Um, One of the things that you want to look at for is you want to always make sure you have a teammate, whether it's one or two other people with you. Super speedway racing is a whole different ball game. Um, you look at tracks like in Michigan, and just this past weekend, Atlanta, which is now a super speedway. Um, Talladega, it's very hard as we've seen that big crash at the start on lap. I believe that was lap 6. A lot of cars involved. I don't know how much on off pace they're going to be. It's going to be hard to dictate, how this race is going to play out.
And that is the excitement of iRacing here. We have no clue how it's going to pan out. I think last week we put the commentator curse on Zachary Compton as he was leading the field there. We all about put that car into victory lane, and he ended up having to pull off with about a lap to go. And that was something he actually went over the radio to let the other drivers know that he was going to be running out of fuel, and that opened the way for Alex Tallman to come along and pick up that victory. As we see a couple cars down here on that Zachary Compton there, Mike. We all about put that St. Patrick's Day machine in victory lane last week, but he just was one of those cars that ran that thing all the way down to E, as I like to do in my vehicles, and he just didn't have enough fuel to go all the way. But keep an eye out for him in tonight's race. He is one of those drivers that I'm keeping an eye out for because he did really run a clean race last week. He just, like I said, ran out of fuel towards the end, Mike.
Definitely. I mean, it's definitely heartbreaking. I was cheering for him behind the scenes, and then as we heard, definitely went down pit road with 3 laps to go, which I was definitely shocked that he had a chance to make it all the way, just by saving as far as the gap he had. But hopefully this week we'll have another first-time winner. Super speedways, you always see first-time winners. A couple years ago, I believe it was Michael McDowell. Before that, Trevor Bain. First-time winners at Talladega.
We shall see who's going to pick up the victory here tonight. I know Batby wants to pad his points lead a little bit at the top. But we're taking a look at that Rainbow Warrior, and that's James Brosker. That's a name that we didn't really call out too much last week, Mike, but he is racing really competitive, and he is racing that number 3 car. It would be a good thing to put that 3 machine into victory lane. But taking a look at the grid so far, and a few names that I'm surprised that have dropped back to the back already, Mike, and that's the Funky Cold Medina is all the way down to P15. Nick Alford is, I know he's got that rookie moniker next to his name. He is all the way down to P16. And, of course, Keith Fallon was caught up in that wreck earlier. Those are just a few names that really started off really well. They qualified really well in this race, but just seemed to just drop way back. But this is a long race here at Talladega. We got 150 laps, so anything can happen. And as we were just talking about, we all about gave that victory to Zachary Compton, and he actually wasn't the one that picked up the victory. So it is all up in the air of who is going to pick up this race win here tonight, and we are excited to be here giving you this live action out of the High Octane Sim Series. And Mike, one of the names other than Compton that I'm keeping an eye out for is going to have to be, I mean, Riley Hoots is really competitive and really strong in a lot of these super speedway action. But I'm keeping an eye on that 23 machine again, Alex Tallman. He really came out of nowhere last week. He snuck up. He stayed behind those good wrench machines. He let those boys make their mistakes. He let them run out of fuel. He let them do their strategies, and he really just put his car in the best position possible to pick up that win. So that is my pick for tonight's race. Don't want to put that commentator's curse on him just yet, but keep an eye out on that 23 machine, rocking a little bit of a different paint scheme here tonight. It's like that is Tiny Dog racing across the side of that machine. I am enjoying that turquoise paint scheme on the side. But Mike, who is your guy that you have an eye out for, and who's your pick for tonight?
Well, I believe you took my pick, so I think I'm going to go with Zachary Compton this week. You know, after last week, I think he's due for that W.
And he is straight out of Compton. Cue up the NWA because this is the way to go here tonight. It looks like there's only going to be the pace cars of the lights are off the pace truck there. I was going to say pace car, but it is a pace truck here tonight. We're about to go back racing here in the High Octane Sim Series. It's going to be Bledsoe and Hoots leading the way to the field. And we're about to go racing here live on 10-4 Broadcasting.
Barney Hall. That's the flag. Now we've seen the last green flag start there. We had 2 packs. Now it looks like we're gaining another pack. But I believe, Will, your pick there, trying to make a move on the outside. The 62.
He sure is, as we're taking a look at the action back here. This is what I really love about this track here, Mike. I'm a fan of these wide banking super speedway tracks. I grew up right outside Charlotte Motor Speedway. My grandfather won at Daytona. So I am a huge fan of these 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide racing here. And I really love it when those boys go 3 wide into the corner because it really shows the skill that you have to have on the wheel to control your car. But one of the things I love to mention in these broadcasts here, you don't want to get stuck in what I like to call the danger zone. And that is that middle lane on that 3 wide situation, because that danger zone, nothing ever good happens for you in that danger zone. You either get loose, you lose a lot of space, you lose outside the draft, as we're seeing Bledsoe still leading the way here down into 3 and 4. And if you do get loose, there's usually a car on the outside of you and you have nowhere to go. So keep an eye out for that here tonight, as we see actually that middle lane starting to stack up a little bit. We see some speed building up on the outside and middle lanes. Maybe going to compete. We see something trying to build up on that outside, but it's just not going to be enough, and you'll probably see those boys file back into single file, as we are single file going down into 1 and 2. We're on lap 19 here at the High Octane Sim Series, live on 10-4 Broadcasting. It is still Bledsoe and Thomas. Now, Thomas is another name that we didn't really call out too much last week, Mike, but he is racing like he wants to be known to everybody.
Definitely, as we see the outside line starting to pick up. Teammates, 62 and 9. Looks like that second pack is caught up. But, I want to give an update on my pick. Zachary Compton. Looks like he's off the pace. I believe he's got damage from the first wreck. And just trying to log lap at this point.
That is not good to see this early in the action here in the High Octane Sim Series. But taking a look at our race leader, Alan Bledsoe, just to give a little bio of him, because we have some time as he is still leading the pack here, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to give up that lead anytime soon. Alan Bledsoe is racing out of Springfield, Missouri. He actually is a warehouse worker / box truck driver, so he actually drives on a regular basis, so I can see where those skills actually come into play here on the simulator. He joined Iracing only less than 2 years ago, so he is showing the practice and the work that he has put in on the simulator, and he is racing for Kenny Powers Motorsports here, and his everyday ride is a 2017 Chevy Impala. You got to respect that out of the man rocking that Chevy Impala, but he is showing that he wants that RESPECT here tonight as he is leading the field, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to give up that lead anytime soon.
As you say, not giving up the lead. Looking at that outside line. Teammates 62-9. I believe that's the 27 on the outside. Trying to make a run.
See that. We see the boys single file coming to the line here at lap 22 here in the High Octane Sim Series. And taking a look at Kelly Thomas in that 51 machine. It's the name that we didn't call out too much last week at Chicagoland. Just a little bio on him on their second place car here. He is 54 years old. He is racing out of the West Coast there in California. And his iRacing fun fact that everybody wants to know, he won his first official iRace in July of 2008. Man, so he is quite the veteran here on the simulator. He is showing it here tonight. Hopefully he is able to put that 51 machine in victory lane, but he has got a lot of speed behind him, Mike.
Definitely. I think the right spot as we see the 51. Try to look on the outside. Try to make a run on that 42. But try to close up from the outside run. As we're going to take an in-car and see how he's driving.
These in-car camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll take a ride along with Kelly here in the 51 machine. And Mike, at Talladega, as you're racing behind somebody, how wise is it to kind of, you see it in the Cup Series, that give and take, and as I mentioned in that first broadcast, the bubble aspect. Are you going to see that tonight out of these drivers?
Well, we do see it once in a while. So that's the leader, the 42 of Bledsoe. As you see the get to that bumper. But we see also the 42 trail braking just a tad bit to try to break that little bumper, as they call it. Yes, it gives you more speed, but it also hurts the car behind as it overheats the car, pretty fast. That's one thing that when you're behind somebody, especially this close, where you're kissing the guy in front of you, you always want to make sure, check your temps, make sure you're not overheated.
Don't want to overheat, as we're only 25 laps in here at the High Octane Sim Series live at Talladega, and I like to call it a little love tap. You get a little love tap, and we saw last week the Dale Earnhardt push, and I like to call it as well. Kyle Busch is kind of like the modern version of that push aspect, where you just get enough frustrated with the guy in front of you that you just give him that little tap right down the fender. You kind of send him gently up the track a little bit, and you pass them. But we're not seeing any of that just yet out of these drivers here. As we see, it's still single file leading it onto the front stretch here. It is still Bledsoe in that 42 machine leading Kelly Thomas right behind him, and Riley Hoots, who led, I believe, 100+ laps last week, is in P3, so he is waiting his turn to get up to the lead here. He's got some teammates right behind him rocking his good winch paint scheme, so you'll see if they can work together to get that 24 Rainbow machine to the top. Taking a look at the action here going around the backstretch. And Mike, as we're about to cross the line here at lap 27, I do want to run our viewers through the stages here tonight. Stage 1 is going to be a set of 40 laps. We saw that last week, how these stage winners, they pick up those stage victories and might not always equal a race victory. We're under caution again here in the High Octane Sim Series. This is our third caution of the night.
Yes, looks like the leader did crash. Let's see what happened here. Try to come on pit road.
Ooh.
Him stopping there is where it brought out the caution.
That's when I like to cue up that Tokyo Drift theme song there, Mike, and it's, how does it go? I wonder if you know. And you saw that he got a little sideways, and these cars are not meant for drifting, and he missed the pit lane altogether there, and that brings out the third caution here tonight, the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. We see the boys running into the pit stalls one more time here. It's probably just for a little splash and go. What do you think, Mike?
I don't know. We've seen people start pitting, which was the top 6 drivers. We see talk about a couple cautions ago. Top 6 did not pit. Now we see the leaders did pit. One gentleman did not. Was unable to keep it straight, walk it down too much, and we see them spin. But you know what this caution does? It helps these guys in the back that just pitted. So we
It
will
surely
have
does.
a new race leader, as in Kevin Burlick is your race leader in that 62 Bullock, I should say. I apologize. But,
It's okay. And while we have a second, while we're under caution here, we're going to be under caution here for a couple laps. I'm going to see if I can't get our last week's winner, Alex Tallman, in for an interview to see how he is feeling about tonight's race. Hey, Alex, this is Will and Mike up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, man, I just wanted to catch up with you real quick. We're under caution here again at Talladega. This is the third caution of the race. You picked up the victory last week at Chicagoland. How are you feeling about tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. Car feels good. Draft feels really good. I know I said last week that the air package was bad on this car. It looks like they updated it. It works really well.
You're seeing the action already get a little high octane, no pun intended there. Do you feel like that's going to be the pace here the rest of the way?
I don't know. Everyone, I tried to get something going on the high side. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Nobody was going with me, so I think people are going to try and get single file here, ride it out. We're coming, like 9 to go to end the stage. But I'm
Yes, sir.
expecting a little intensity pickup right here, but
A little intensity. Right. We see you not rocking the Dr. Pepper paint scheme here tonight. You want to take us through the different paint scheme and that sponsor you got on the side of the car?
$90 Racing. That's my team name. It's awesome. My boy Darren Staff, who's in the 45, made it for us. I went with the white because I like white paint schemes better, but they got some nice ones in front of me right now, 20 and 45.
Well, it looks super clean from up here in the booth here, Alex. And before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anybody that might be tuning in here tonight to see if you can put that 23 machine back in victory lane?
I shout out to everyone that's watching right now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving us some love.
There we go. And Alex, before I let you go, what do you think is going to be the key here to put that 23 machine back in victory lane?
Save that fast repair. That's what's gonna be really key right here. Save the fast repair.
That is the key. And we saw that last week. We saw that fuel mileage and that fast repair come into play. And Alex, we appreciate you taking the time with us, and we'll let you get back to racing here. We're about to go back under green here, I believe, in about a lap and a half, 2 laps here. And good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
That was Alex Tallman. He was our winner last week at Chicagoland, and we appreciate him taking the time with us here. And Mike, he is my pick in tonight's race, and he is racing. He's making me look like Mystic Mac over here because he is keeping that car clean. And you saw him kind of talk about the strategies there building up on the outside. Do you see a little bit more lines building up, or do you see this thing going single file at the end of stage 1?
I see definitely more lines. I see we go. I don't know if we're gonna go 3 wide towards the end of the stage, like 23 said. You know, save that fast repair. I don't think people are gonna take that much of a risk. But as you see up front, we got 4 cars for one team. Definitely gonna be a game changer here.
Game changer indeed, Mike. Taking a look at that top 10, not much of change. We're not seeing many other cars up there, but look at that. Funky Cold Medina in that 9 machine. He is up at the top of the pack. And are we looking at the top of the pack of these cars that may have not have pitted on that last pit window?
That is correct.
So these cars will have an uphill battle once that green flag drops. But hey, we only have 10 to go. when this green flag drops in stage 1, so maybe they are racing for these stage points here. Pick up because I know these points are pretty close right now, and Bad B is our points leader here in the High Octane Sim Series, the Cup Series. But we are about to go back racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Once this pace truck pulls off, the green flag will drop once again here at Talladega, live on 10-4 Broadcasting. Here we go, boys. We got less than 10 to go in stage 1 here, live from Talladega. We're about to go racing, and I'm loving those colorful paint schemes up at the top of the pack. We'll get that green flag moving. We are about to go racing. Let's go green, green, green.
As we see the teammates, the 962. Oh, as we have a little checkup.
Big checkup there. Big reshuffle of the pack there on the backstretch. We're seeing it coming out of 2. These cars have so much speed coming off the corner. It is almost uncontrollable. We've already had a couple cautions on Calamity. I'm going to say Calamity corner back there coming off of 2. The Bulls have settled back down into their racing strategies here. We're going to be less than 9 to go here in stage 1. And Mike, how many laps do you think these boys here in the top of the pack have before these cars? As I'm mentioning it, we already see Riley Hoots creep back up into second position here. And it's really going to be tough to hold off those guys that got the fresh tires and fuel.
I think super speedways, tires is definitely not something to worry about right now. But as we've seen, that little mishap by the 87 broke this battle up into 2 packs. 7-car breakaway up front as the 62 is trying to get back to his teammate.
That is the 09 of Keith falling up there leading the pack. Taking a look at this breakaway action here, it looks like the second pack, that single file, you'll see that out of these next-gen cars, once they start filing up and they get into that, what they call that old-school snake line, they start to pull away from anybody that's behind them. And you see Alex Tallman's one of these cars leading the second pack here, leading the way, but they are starting to drift off just a tad from that lead pack. I believe I'm seeing about a 3-second difference between that lead pack and that second pack, Mike.
Yes, and definitely want to correct you on something. This is definitely not the next gen cars. This is the old Gen 6 version. We're not the next gen just yet.
Now, with the Gen 6 cars, for people that might be unfamiliar with it, what makes it different than, say, like the next gen or the Gen 5? We're seeing things get a little dicey there. What are some of the things that makes this car different than, say, like the next gen?
Well, the next gen, of course, got a bigger tire. 1 lug nut instead of the 5 lug nuts. That's definitely one of the big keys. The handling characteristic, the spoiler is definitely different in the next gen cars than it is in this version of the car. These are, I believe, going to be the old Archer cars, if I'm not mistaken. But we see the first pack getting away because the guys were side by side here in the second pack. I think if this pack gets single file, I think they will catch up, and they'll catch up fast.
They have to start filing in, Mike, as you see, just as you mentioned that Alex Tallman is leading that second pack there, coming up, but they really have to do that, Mike, in order to close that gap. They have to start filing up and building that big draft wave all the way up to that first pack. But you'll see if they have enough speed to do so as we take a look back at this lead pack. It's still Keith Fallen leading Riley Hoots. And Mike, next time around, we're going to be less than 5 laps to go here in stage 1 here at Talladega. And we'll see who picks up this stage victory. And for Riley Hoots, he really needs those stage points to kind of build his way back up this points table here, as he is outside the top 10 in points currently. With a great finish here tonight, he can definitely change his position leading into next week. We'll see if he makes a move on Keith Fallen here going down into the backstretch in that 24 machine. We saw him last week in the same position. This is almost like Denzel Washington in that Deja Vu movie. You're seeing the same thing over and over again at O'Reilly Hoots. He led over 100 laps last week. So, we have action on the backstretch. Looks like Zachary Compton was caught up. Got bumped from behind. We're under a caution again here at Talladega, bringing out the 4th caution here in the High Octane Sim Series. Man, and I saw that just out of the corner of my eye, Mike.
Definitely. We've seen the car starting to back check up. And fortunately, that's what happens.
And that is what happens indeed. And unfortunately, I think you may have put the commentator curse on Zachary Compton there. That luck of the Irish may have worn off in that St. Patrick's Day looking machine there out of Zachary Compton. We are under caution again here in the High Octane Sim Series. And Mike, it looks like we may have about 1 or 2 laps to finish the stage off once we go back green.
Definitely, we'll bring up a replay here.
And this broadcast, or this replay, is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, if you want, oh man, what a impact Zachary Compton took from the back, and then in that inside barrier wall there. And Mike, as you were mentioning, is that just a case of checking up and you just don't see the car in front of you?
Yes, we're going to go on board in this next shot, and we're going to see exactly what happened. Right from the driver's view. Ooh. Had nowhere to turn. But yes, that is definitely bad luck. The cars in front checked up and just chain reaction.
It's unfortunate to see, and Zachary Compton is having not the night he probably anticipated out of that machine, but keeping that car out there. He is still racing with the boys, and we appreciate that fight seeing out of Zachary Compton, but anything can happen here in the High Octane Sim Series, as we still have a long way to go. We are only 3 laps to go here in stage 1, but really anything can happen. And as we just spoke with Alex Tolman, he was mentioning his strategy in this race is that fast repair. And Mike, for people that are unfamiliar with iRacing, or maybe this is their first race tuning in, what exactly is a fast repair in iRacing?
So iRacing, some leagues do have fast repair. It's basically a quick repair if you have any damage. You basically unload a new car right from the hauler. The one key thing is like how Alex said, was, hold on to that fast repair, because you never know, there might be another big wreck towards the end of the race, and that's where you need it. So as we see, a bunch of these cars early on had problems. We had that big wreck just shy of under 10 laps from the first, right from the start, and a lot of people got involved. Did they use a fast repair? Maybe, but again, as long as you can keep up, stay in the lead lap, and then come towards when you need that fast repair, it's there.
As far as damage goes, these cars are going to be put through the ringer almost like a actual NASCAR race, Mike.
Yes, definitely. The one also difference, I know you were saying about it earlier, but the difference between these cars and the next gen cars is the next gen's a lot more forgiving, I guess you could say, on the damage. These cars, they're built a little bit less to where they'll take more damage, but the next gen cars, because the bodies are piece by piece, it can be, taken off, put back on real quick. So these cars, if you have a spoiler, or if not a spoiler, a fender that needs to be repaired, that's it. You cut it up, and that's all you do. 2 keys that we take away is, as you see on a Sunday afternoon, NASCAR's rules is if the spoiler is not hooked up, you can't go back on the track. Here, this is where the fast repair come in. Sometimes you'll see, the spoiler bent a little bit on the middle, on the left, on the right, as we've seen in the 81 of Zachary Compton. I'll pull him up here. Looks like he did use the fast repair. See if I get somebody here with a little damage to give you an idea.
And Mike, as you're doing that, it looks like I am getting confirmation across the radio from Race Control, and that is going to end stage 1 here at Talladega and High Octane Sim Series. So congratulations, it looks like, to maybe Alex Tallman is the stage 1 winner there, is going to finish under caution, but Race Control has confirmed that that is going to end the stage here, that caution flag. So just wanted to jump in and mention that to the viewers, and we appreciate Race Control coming across the radio and mention that to us.
Definitely, speaking of the curse, I guess one curse is better than the other curse, so to say. One is leading.
Across the
Getting told by the 33 spotter that it's windy up in the spotter stand, which definitely is going to make these cars handle different.
It sure is, and we were surprisingly had low wind last week at Chicagoland in the Windy City. So it is a change of pace here in Sweet Home, Alabama, as we see Alex Tallman's going to lead this charge to the start-finish line. He's going to pick back up the race here. We're going to start stage 2 and here at the High Octane Sim Series, and Alex Tallman was our winner here at Chicagoland last week, but he is leading the way here at Talladega. And let's go racing. We're about to go green, green, green.
And as we've seen, the leader chose the outside line. And as we talked about early on, that high side, you see that every Sunday when you watch Daytona and Talladega, as the 3 cars looking for the lead. As we have a new race leader.
I think he's going to take that race lead. Mike, he had a big run coming off to 2 there. Looks like these drivers are catching a lot of speed off turn 2. It's almost reminding me of those boosters you had in your old Hot Wheels sets. You get that quick amount of speed right off the corner there, and we saw it out of that 3 machine. He is leading the way here. He's going to lead the field to the start-finish line here, and he's putting that Goodwrench machine, I believe that is in one of those Goodwrench machines, leading the way here in that 3 car. But look at that, Alex Tallman is not giving up on that lead. He is right on that back bumper. He wants that lead back. He said, nope, this is my spot. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. Cue up the Drake because I'm going for that top spot.
And if any of the fans are in the stands listening, if you see a King Racing the 33 hat, spotter has said that he lost his hat, so make sure you bring it back down pit road, or give it to one of the officials to send it back up, and hopefully maybe he'll sign it for you. As we see a new leader outside line, Alex Tallman, back up front.
And we'll get that grid back up for you, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, as we're taking a look at Alex Tallman leading the way there. And there we go. That grid is back up. And as that grid pops back up, we see that rainbow machine and Riley Woods come right back up on that outside lane there. That was one of the things that Alex Tallman actually talked about. We get a second to speak with him about that outside lane, but he is stuck on that bottom lane as we're seeing coming off it too. Those boys have so much speed. And is that something about that corner there, Mike? Is it coming off of Talladega? Do you just have so much speed?
Yes, definitely. When you're coming off the corners, you're definitely carrying a lot of speed. We've seen Alex just come up just a tad bit side draft. Speeds in these cars can reach at least 196, 197 in the draft.
And it looks like that 3 car has gotten shuffled back there into the middle of the pack there. And it looks like he may have gotten caught in that danger zone. And that is not a good place to be as a race car driver, but he has wisely filed back into that outside lane there. That outside lane is being led by Riley Hoots. But taking a look at the lead here, we got Keith Fallen in that 09 machine. And I know it's kind of cliche to say as I've been mentioning it all broadcast, but he is another driver that ran really well last week, that Captain Jack Smokehouse machine. But again, just kind of, there's a lot of things that came into play there at the end of the race at Chicagoland, and I believe he was just caught up in one of those incidents where there was a crash or fuel mileage or something that just kept him out of victory lane. But he said, I'm hungry, I want that big finish here tonight. He's taking that lead, and it doesn't look like he's going to be giving it up anytime soon here, Mike.
Definitely not. Speaking of Hungary, I'm hearing from our producers that we'll be having a surprise next week. Come up to the booth. I hear there's going to be some nice, amazing barbecue.
That would be amazing. Maybe some steaks as well, some barbecue and steak. But we shall see here as Alex Tallman really bumping on that back bumper there. He is racing aggressive here tonight. He wants to pick up those. He wants to go back to back here in the High Octane Sim Series. But we shall see if Keith Fallen can hold him off. But it looks like Alex Tallman's going to make that big move to the outside. See if he has enough speed to take that lead away. But he looks like he has some help out there with him. That is in that 28 machine, leading that way right behind him. It looks like they're starting to pull away from the rest of the pack here. They have found their new tandem partners. They're starting to creep away, building up just about it's like 10/10 of a second lead there on Keith Fallen. And that it happens so quick, Mike. If you can just get that speed, your lead can just evaporate just like that.
Definitely, but I don't know if you have too much of a lead. What's going to happen is the third or fourth place car is going to catch up fast and then fly right by. So you don't want to have too much of a lead, especially if you're out front.
No, but I believe Alex Tallman is a driver that can handle that solo double action out in the front. But you're seeing a lot of speed out of the rest of these cars. But you saw it in that last run, Mike. If a group of cars can start to pull away from that second pack, there's really not much you can do in that second pack. You basically start counting your laps until the end of the stage, and if you have enough laps, then great. But if not, you just have to watch the rest of the field.
Definitely. See, second, Alex Talman and Ryan Lewis coming up away.
Right, Lewis racing in that 20 machine. He's got Keith Fallen in that third position right behind him. There's a Compton right in P4. It's like Shrell is in P5. Bullock was our pole sitter. He is in P6. Nick Alford is in P7. He's got that rookie moniker next to his name, but I believe he is no rookie in no shape or form. We got our points leaders dropped down to P10, and that's Batby. And then P9 is excuse me if I'm mispronouncing this right, it looks like Brosker to me, but that rounds out the top 10 right now at Talladega. We are live on 10-4 Broadcasting, bringing you that high-octane sim series action. We're on lap 46 of 150. We've got about 24 laps to go here, or 34 laps to go here in stage 2. I believe that should put us at around 80 laps here in stage 2, but it is Alex Tallman leading the way here. He was the leader last week at Chicagoland. He was in the right place at right time, and that was our lead lap champion right there, Riley Hoots in that 24 machine. He was getting kind of shuffled back there in some back of the pack action, starting to lose that grip on that lead pack.
Like you guys, 6-car breakaway. But we talked about earlier, traffic there, pit stops. Just want to give you a touch base here. Being reported that Ryan Lewis and Alex Talbot have not pitted since lap 27.
27.
So we're looking at hopefully seeing them drop down pit road here shortly. Everybody else is pitted on lap 36.
But a 9-lap difference between those two cars and the rest of the field. But the best thing they can hope for right now is a caution. If not, they'll have to make green flag pit stops and hopefully climb their way back up to the lead. But Mike, there's a long way to go here at Talladega. We're live on 10-4 broadcast and bringing you the High Octane Sim Series action. This is our second race with the High Octane Sim Series. And boy, we were in for a treat at Chicagoland for our first go at it, and we were in for nothing less here at Talladega.
Catching up pretty fast. We're about a second and a half back from that lead pack. They are also single file. And just 1 quarter to gain about 0.05 on that lead pack.
It's about a if I'm seeing the grid right there, Mike, it's about a 2-second difference, and it's Batby leading the way in that second pack. He's about 2.1 seconds off that lead pack.
1.5 to be exact.
He is climbing back up, and as you mentioned, as each lap goes by, he is closing that gap, and you'll see it. We only got about 30 laps to go here in stage 2. Is Alex Tallman leading the way, but we are taking a look at the second pack, Mike. We're taking a look at I believe that is the points leader, Batby, leading the way, and boy, he could really solidify his spot at the top of the table if he picks up a victory here tonight. That's Matthew Batby in that 89 machine. He's leading Riley Hoots behind him, who also wants to solidify his spot in the top 10 of the points table. So kind of struggling to start off the season here, but really great race ran from him last week. Just finished second. Just didn't have enough speed to catch those boys there at the end. But taking a ride along with Matthew Batby here in the 89 machine, and I'll go ahead and let you guys take a listen to the tactics he is going on play in his machine. As we take a ride with Matthew Batby here, we're taking a look at that back fender view here, the back bumper view, if you will, brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. And I want to mention that Matthew Batby is only 16 years old, so this iRacer is only old enough to drive a real car, and he is leading the points series right now in the High Octane Sim Series Cup Series. So big ups to him, and shout out to Matthew Batby, and he is racing that thing strong here tonight. He's wanting to close that gap between him and that first pack there, and I believe if he can get this machine up into the mix there in that lead pack, he's got something for those boys up at the top.
Definitely, as we see, the miles per hour, 199, 200. Down and back, they have caught that lead pack.
Ooh, he is coming, Mike. He is coming quick, fast, and then he's going to the outside. He's going to pass a bunch of cars on that outside there. He's got a lot of speed coming out onto the front stretch. He is going to pick up a lot of positions there, led by, as you see the leaders go down into pit road, as we mentioned. I believe that it is Alex Tallman and his buddy there down pit road, and you see a new change at the lead, as you see Matthew Batby is now leading here at Talladega.
As we see, as we've got that draft, 206 down that front stretch.
Oh, when they get loose on the backstretch there, you saw a little love tap going on from Riley Hoots to Matthew Batby there. He is stuck on that back bumper stronger than Gorilla Glue on a broken cup. I tell you what, but he is wanting to take that lead away from Matthew Batby. As we have a second to do so, I do want to give a shout out to the chat there. And Adams Racing, I believe that is Mitchell Adams, one of our wonderful producers here at 10-4 Broadcasting, also a producer at the World Racing Network. And big shout out to him for tuning in to tonight's action. And you are in for a treat if you're going to stay tuned the rest of the way here, as Matthew Batby is leading the charge here. He led the charge all the way in that second pack there. Mike, he was about 2 seconds behind that lead pack, but boy, once he caught that draft, it was game over for that lead pack.
Definitely. We talked about that earlier. You know, that was one of the key moments of the race. Having that draft. If you get that draft, it's over. But then again, we see behind the 42 catching back up. Not getting away that easily like they did before.
And I know the movies like to dramatize it a little bit, but is it as simple as the Talladega Nights saying a slingshot engage in these draft processes?
I believe there was a slingshot engaged right there. As soon as he got the draft, he was like, I'm going for it. Because when you're traveling that fast, you definitely do not want to check up, because we saw it earlier with Zachary Compton, that if you check up, there's definitely going to be insult to injury.
Oh yeah, but once Matthew Badby took that lead, Riley Hoots gave him a little love tap, made him spill his macchiato all over his racing suit. He let him know that he was right there, just like Ricky Bobby did in that race. So you'll see it here at Talladega, the love taps going on. But we are 55 laps in here at Talladega, bringing you live action out of the High Octane Sim Series. This is Matthew Badby, our points leader right now, picking up some really great laps around the track, and boy, if he can hold on here the rest of the way and pick up this stage 2 victory, that is really going to pad his lead at the top of the table.
As you see the outside line forming up, led by the 62 Kevin Burlock, and teammates right behind at 27 to 9. I believe that's, yep, that is the 97. Or 87, I should say, I apologize. You know, looking at this this field, there's one thing that I've seen, or I noticed in this race, especially this pack. They're all powered by Chevy.
And Chevy has been that manufacturer over the years that has really shown that consistency. I know for a brief moment in time, everybody was tired of seeing Toyota win the races with Kyle Busch and those rest of those Toyotas, but it seems to be over the past couple of years, as you see things get a little dicey here at the top of the pack, you see cars kind of give taps on those fenders, but good on the boys at keeping those cars straight and moving forward, and we didn't see any accidents there. But back to what we were talking about with the manufacturers there, Mike. It hasn't been any other manufacturer that's dominated over the past few years like Chevy has. Ford hasn't had anything for anybody. I know Toyota, like I said, had that brief moment in time, but boy, it has really been the Chevys that have held it down here. As we took a look at this purple machine, makes me think of Purple Rain. Cue up the Prince, because this is Bob Carroll in that 27 machine, and boy, he was one of those cars at Chicagoland. We saw him coming quick, fast, and in a hurry to take that lead at Chicagoland, but of course he was one of those drivers that just got caught up in those late race shenanigans, if you will, whether it was gas mileage or wrecks or just wasn't in the right place at the right time and wasn't able to put that car into victory lane. But it looks like he has a nice tandem of teammates behind him, and they are rocking those two-tone paint schemes all the way, hopefully, to victory lane. And boy, they're racing some colorful cars here tonight, Mike.
I'm thinking, I'm liking that 9. David Medina, definitely that blue and gray definitely has a spot to my heart.
It sure does, and the back of that car almost makes it look like ice, and boy, that he can stick to his moniker of Funky Cold Medina, rocking that ice cold paint scheme there. And boy, do I like that green car. I believe that is Schilling in P3, another name that we haven't mentioned much in our broadcast here, but boy, he has put his car in the top 3, so you might have to get to know him a little bit. This is Derek Schilling Racing out of Indianapolis. Boy, he must be excited if he is a Colts fan. They finally got themselves a quarterback in Indy, so we'll see if they can do something this year. But Taking a look at Derek Schilling here in P3. He's really showing out tonight, and he is racing up there with his teammates. And boy, this looks like a Hendricks Motorsports tandem up at the top.
Definitely. As we see one Toyota at the 45 trying to get into this Chevy Brigade.
Right behind them, bringing up, trying to break down that Fort Sumter wall, if you will. I believe that is Matthew Bedby. As we see the leader start to drip down into pit road here, we're going to have less than 20 laps to go in stage 2, so this might be a play to try to make it to the end of the stage.
I was actually just about to bring it up, but the last time they pitted was on lap, I believe it was 36. Yes, it was lap 36.
You are our iRacer in the booth, Mike, and we appreciate that. And as we have a chance to take a look at these pit stops, I always love to ask you iRacers. I know we don't see pit crews or anything jump over the wall. We don't see those lug nut guns or anything. We don't see tires catching on fire like Haley Deegan last week. But how important are these pit stops, and what do you have to do in the simulator to make sure you get the right things taken care of?
Well, the one thing is, as we see the second group pitting, the one thing you want to do is coming down pit road, especially on super speedway, not take tires, to be honest with you.
No tires?
No tires. I think, the competition cautions and the stage breaks, that's where you take tires, but, these little, these runs, the green flag runs, no tires. But the only thing is, you got to be easy coming out of pit road, as we see in left side tires on the 09.
We did see some cars coming down pit road a little hot, as the chat has mentioned for us. We saw it earlier in the race as well, where cars got a little fast coming down off the corner, and when we queued up that Tokyo Drift theme song, as we brought up one of our cautions here tonight, as a car actually got sideways trying to brake so hard going down into pit road. But taking a look back at the action on the track, it looks like we're going to have a little reshuffle of the field, if you will. And once everything gets back settled and racing the way it should be, because I believe some more cars might be dipping down into pit road here, as we got less than, I believe, 18 laps to go here in stage 2. It is Riley Hoots going to put that rainbow machine right in the front. He's going to have Matthew Badby right behind him. And have they pitted yet, Mike? I don't believe we've seen these cars go down pit road yet.
The last time they pitted was on lap 60, so that was exactly 2 laps ago.
Oh, so they're good to go for the rest of the stage here. And boy, they have put themselves in a great position after those pit stops. They have got themselves ahead of those machines of Bob Carroll and his teammates. And that is a place to be here with less than 17 laps to go in stage 2. And this is, like I said, cue up Denzel Washington, that Deja Vu movie, because this is the movie that we saw last week with Riley Hoots leading this pack. And boy, Mike, I sure hope that he can put that car in victory lane, or else it might be another frustrating night for Riley Hoots in that 24 machine.
Definitely. One thing I'm looking forward to is that this is the last stage. Are we going to have another upset victory, or are we going to see somebody familiar face?
I believe the way this race has been going, Mike, we might have a unknown, if you will, pick up this race win, because we see the consistent names up in the front. We also see a few names that we don't really call a lot, like, for instance, Schilling's up there, who actually started on the pole, is up there as well. Medina's up there racing really well, and then another name that's really raced really consistent here in tonight's race, and excuse me if I'm mispronouncing your last name, Brosker. Brosker in that P8 has really ran a really smooth race here tonight. Keep an eye out on these names to be in play towards the end of the race, as Mike mentioned, because once those late race shenanigans start to pick up, it might be one of these unknowns, if you will, picking up that race victory, as we saw last week with Alex Tolman kind of just was sitting back in P5, P4 towards the end, and once everything started to unfold, his car ended up in victory lane. Boy, what a win it was for him last week at Chicagoland, jumping back here at Talladega, and it's still Riley Hoots in that 24 machine leading the way, Matthew Badby right behind him. We do have a Lightning McQueen reference in the chat. No tires, just gas. And boy, I miss watching those movies. I hope at one point maybe they throw some more on Disney Plus. Maybe they bring it back, like animated series, because boy, that was quite the show. Or those movies, I remember those movies were really awesome to watch. Actually, I lived in Charlotte when they did the premiere of the first Cars movie, and that was quite an event for everybody there. My uncle actually raced in the premiere against Jimmy Johnson and Newman and all those good guys. So that movie does have a place in my heart. But back to the action here at Talladega. It is still Riley Hoots leading this pack. And Mike, as we're creeping up at this end of stage 2, are you starting to get a little bit more antsy in the simulator? Are you starting to see like the laps are winding down? Do you start to see that the window to make these opportunities is not maybe closing, but maybe someone's starting to slide that window down just a tad?
No. I think what these drivers are doing is still trying to gauge, how everybody else is, especially fuel-wise. I think after this stage, we're definitely going to see a lot of no more give and take. It's going to be go. Like Alan said when we brought him in earlier on, is that fast repair that has worked for some drivers.
As we see a battle for second place there, they're going side by side, and you see that second position has been overtaken, and you see him going for the lead there. I believe it was Schilling in that P2. He's being pushed by his teammate in that 27 machine, Bob Curley. It looks like they might have enough speed to take over this lead, Mike.
As we've seen some 3-wide battle back there, going into 3, coming at a 4, teammates 1-2.
They have wasted no time, and that cat knows how high octane this action here is tonight, as we see another change in the lead. Schilling leading away his teammate in Bob Curley, 27 machine, but look for Bob to make a move on his teammate, because I don't think he is a driver that likes to be in second place. He wants to be the one picking up the victory. Shout out to Cal, I'm forgetting the last name of Ricky Bob. And you see it now, as you see Bob Carroll is going to the inside there to make the move on his team. And you see Riley Hoots is getting stuck in a bad position there. Boy, that was close there, Mike.
Most definitely. Bob Carroll, leader in point. Again, we talked about some new names up front.
Is leading the way in that 27 machine. I do want to give a breaking news update for anybody that is a March Madness fan. St. Peter's has knocked off Purdue in the March Madness bracket, so we have a 15 seed going into the Elite 8. Again, St. Peter's has knocked off Purdue in the March Madness tournament. Back to the action here as we see Bob Carroll is leading the race here at Talladega. He has wasted no time getting up to the lead again after that green flag pit fender. He ran a really fast race last week, Mike, and he has wasted no time picking up where he left off at Chicagoland.
Definitely, we've seen the 23 back off just a tad bit. He's back there. He's actually 4 seconds off the pace, so I think he knows something's going to happen.
Call him Mystic Mac because he may predict these things, but up at the front, it is Keith Frollin now in that P2 position in that 09 machine, so maybe these teammates can start to pull away a little bit. But look at Raposa in that P3. He has seemingly come out of nowhere, rocking that all-black Texaco machine there. It's good to see that. I believe that is Texaco or Valvoline. I can't really see. He is driving Valvoline. That is a throwback paint scheme there, and I do appreciate the simplicity of that paint scheme. But boy, Eli Raposa is showing out for the Northeast there in the 46 machine. He is wedged in between those teammates there, and you see another teammate creep up on the outside there. But he is in a prime position here with less than 9 laps to go here in stage 2. Curl is going to lead them down into 3, and it is his teammate Keith falling right behind him, and Raposa in P3. But it looks like Bob does not want to give up this lead here with less than 8 laps to go in stage 2, as Keith is looking for that move, and maybe we can take a ride along with Keith to see what kind of wheel movement he is giving right behind his teammate to see if he's letting off. We'll take a ride along with him. This in-car camera view is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. We'll see what kind of tactics he is putting into play here with less than 8 laps to go in stage 2. Now, Mike, as we're taking a ride along with Keith Fallen here, how difficult is it to maintain your speed with a teammate right in front of you? Because I know as well, in my opinion, if I get that speed, I want to take the lead. I know it's a teammate in front of me, maybe it's just the Kyle Busch in me, but I want to take that lead from that guy. I want to put my car out in front. So how difficult is it to really check up to make sure you stay with your teammate and you make sure you all hold that line?
Well, it seems how, in this league, we look to claim team championship as well. So you definitely do not want to jeopardize the team championship. Of course, each driver wants to win, get those championship points with their own championship. For the team, you always want to have a team mindset, especially in these point races.
Do you want to race for that team championship, and you're seeing great teamwork. As we're taking a look at Roots making a lead on the outside lane there. He's being pushed hard by Matthew Badby on that outside lane as they touch a little bit. Man, that was great racing there to save those two machines, and boy, that would have been catastrophic to see those two guys getting caught up here with 74 laps into this race here. But we see Riley Hoots now is a race leader briefly around 3 and 4. He's leading that outside lane with Matthew Badby right behind his bumper. They're stuck together super well. Riley Hoots is going to lead the pack here and cross the line with less than 5 laps to go in stage 2 here. Live on 10-4 Broadcasting at Talladega, bringing you the high-octane Sim Series action here. Boy, Riley Hoots has basically picked up where he left off last week at Chicagoland, leading 100-plus laps there at that track, but just came up just one position short of putting that 24 machine in victory lane. But boy, he will pick up some awesome stage points if he can hold off Matthew Badby and pick up the stage victory.
Being told from our chat that Keith and Bob aren't teammates.
They're just rocking some really awesome paint schemes here tonight, and we appreciate those paint schemes. And boy, do they look super clean up here in the booth. I know you have a special affliction, I think, with, was it the blue one you were talking about, Mike?
Yes, I do like the blue one.
They do look mighty crispy from up here in the booth. We do apologize for getting those boys mistaken, but I don't think anybody is teammates right here at the moment, as we got less than 4 laps here to go in stage 2. I know we were talking about team championship points, but boy, you want those stage victory points if you can get that. We're checking it out here as Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots are leading the pack here, leading that inside lane. They have now shifted down to the inside yellow lane. Well, we're going to have less than 4 laps to go here in stage 2. And Mike, as we got less than 4 laps to go, it's something that I wanted to ask you that I've been noticing here as the race has progressed. I see the drivers kind of racing the high side as they're gaining positions, wanting to take the lead. But then once they overtake, they kind of shuffle back down to the inside lane. Why is that?
So, super speedway racing is definitely a different type of racing. If you have enough people, the outside line will work. In an next-gen car, it was definitely a proven fact that the high side is the line to to use. But these cars, you definitely want to, hug that yellow line, because what's going to happen if you want someone to pass you? You go on the outside. Normally at a speedway or a short track, they're going to bump you out of the way and go on the inside.
So that outs. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So, getting that outside run and then getting in front of the leader, of that leader, is definitely a good key, because you're keeping the juice, so to say, still chugging.
And we see that. And I was going to say that the outside lane basically is your, if you will, your passing lane on the highway. It's that lane that you want to get into overtake, I suppose.
Definitely. I'm being told from the chat that Hoots and Bathby are cousins. So I hate to be if someone has to bump someone out of the way. Hate to be in that type of family. But,
they can show a little cousin around, if you know what I'm saying, and keep each other out in the front, and maybe one can pick up the victory here, maybe one can pick up the victory next week. But I know in my family it's all cousin love for everybody, so and not only the family, but they're leading 1-2 here in tonight's race, so maybe they have that special bond over the rest of the field here in tonight's action. But we're seeing Bledsoe really creep up on the back bumper of Batby there. He had a lot of speed coming off of 2 there.
yes, definitely, as we see in the outside line as we're coming to, I believe, our stage break here. Unless we're going to go one more lap here.
I believe this was going to complete stage 2 here. It's going to be Riley Hoots picking up the stage victory. And boy, what a victory that was for him. That is going to give him some much needed points to kind of creep him back up into the top 10 of the table. And he really needs to start stacking up those stage victories and race victories here on this season to really solidify his spot here towards the end of the season. We still have a long way to go here in the High Octane Sim Series, but you really want to put yourself in a, I wouldn't say a prime position, but a comfort position leading down into the chase races here in the High Octane Sim Series. But good win for Riley Hoots there, picking up stage 2 victory here. And as I have a second to do so, I'm going to see if I can't get Riley on the radio. Hey Riley, it's Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I believe Mike wanted to catch up with you and see how you're picking up from where you left off at Chicagoland.
Yeah, sure.
So we've seen this second stage is definitely a whole different than the first stage. What are some of the key things that you've learned from the first stage that carried you on to make this stage 2 winner possible?
The big thing is having a set of teammates to help you out. If you don't have friends, you're not going to be able to get anyone to consistently work with you. That was just a great coordinated effort by everybody at KPM, and then the Schaefer guys who were affiliated in the 89 and the 51. That was just an awesome team effort. Impossible without them.
We've seen a couple of pit stops that some people didn't take tires, or some people took left side tires. Is that something that you guys did early on?
Yeah, for the first pit stop, we ended up going with fuel only. And then when we pitted about halfway through the second stage, we took right sides. And right here, the plan is to take lefts to even that up a little bit. And then we'll probably take one more set later on. The tire wear has been minimal, so that hasn't been an issue.
What do you think the key to this race is going to be to get that final victory?
Having somebody around you that you can trust.
I'm being told from the chat that there's a cousin also in the field, so is there any betting going on from between families?
Well, my cousin is actually Matthew in the 89, so we are super competitive with each other. We have been for as long as he's been alive. I've taught him everything I know about racing, and now he's just better than me. But yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah, definitely cousin comes out first ahead of you. Any sponsors you want to shout out this evening?
Nothing in particular, just the usuals. Exalta, I'm loving the Jeff Fordham Rainbow Paint Scheme tonight. Hoping it'll bring me some luck and I can find the pot gold at the end of the rainbow, if you will.
There we go. Well, Riley, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, and we'll let you get back to racing. And man, we hope to speak with you. If you don't pick up this stage victory here, I believe we're gonna race another window to about 150. And boy, if the next time we talk to you would be in Victory Lane, and that'd be awesome to see you put that 24 machine in Victory Lane. I know you worked for it last week, and good luck the rest of the way here, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Enjoy the show.
And that was Riley Hoots we were speaking with, Mike, and boy, he is he's shown a lot of speed here.
Yeah, we seen last week, he was also fast, but just wrong place, wrong time. Hopefully this week, I had my pick. I'm still going to stick it to it. Anything is possible here towards the end of the race.
Anything is indeed possible, as we are seeing the boys go around the track here. We are under caution for the 5th time this evening here at Talladega. We are live on 10-4 broadcasting, bringing you the High Octane Sim Series. This is the Cup Series portion of this league, and boy, we are excited to be bringing you this action. This is the 2nd race for us with this series, and boy, we are hoping to be with this series the rest of the way, because we are loving the action we are seeing so far, and we are hoping that all the viewers are enjoying what you're seeing so far here tonight. And look at my pick of the race. Alex Tallman is picking up that lucky dog, so that's going to put him in prime position here with about, doing my math here, I wasn't a math genius, but we're looking at around 70 laps to go here, Mike.
Just about.
Just about. I know math wasn't my strong suit in school, but somehow they gave me a piece of paper that said college degree on it. But boy, we are racing for that points championship here tonight, as Matthew Badby is our points leader. And boy, Mike, if he could pick up that victory here tonight, it really solidify that. I know I've said that a few times, but boy, he is racing. As Riley mentioned, he taught everything that he knows to Matthew, so maybe Matthew's using those skills to outrace his cousin here tonight, as he's giving that pace truck a little bit of that love tap on that back bumper there. And we are going to be back under green here momentarily, here live from Talladega here on 10-4 Broadcasting. And of course, if you are liking what you're seeing from us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, we'll be live again tomorrow night, bringing you action out of the Powerhouse Racing League that is going to be led by Mitchell Adams. He's going to be our producer leading the way here tonight. And then on Sunday, we'll be live again, bringing you the Big Show Racing League. They do special events every, I think it's end of every month. They do special events there in the Big Show Racing League, so definitely stay tuned for that. We're bringing you all that highly competitive iRacing action here on 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, talking about competitiveness, I'm going to see what Riley Hoots can do in that 24 machine.
Definitely, as we've seen, the 89 giving the pace truck a little love tap. Brett Bredine in that back car is like, man, I wish I could get back in that wheel. But we see here the 24 has a little bit of damage. A little front end damage. The front nose there. Along with the 42. Definitely don't know if that's going to be a game changer towards the end of the race. But we will see. As the pace truck is starting to hit pit lane. Barney Hall with the flag in his hand. And we are green, green, green. Down the backstretch, going with 3 is Riley Hoots, behind the 89 car. And once again, we see on the outside line, those teammates try to make a run to pack. But as we talked about it earlier, teammates. And Riley did point it out, teammates. Alex pointed out, teammates. Having that guy behind you, or you pushing the guy in front of him. So what I see is this. We have a second pack towards the back, I believe. Yes. And a lot more people in that pack, as my dark horse, you could say, is in that pack, or 81, exactly. That's 3 wide, the 45 dropping back. But we're going to see again if the leader here pulls away. Speed here. See if he's going to top out at 200.
Taking a ride on with Shell here. Boy, they're hitting some speeds in those corners. And Mike, on these super speedways, are you letting off at all, or are you just letting that thing go around the corner?
You are pedal to the metal as hard as you can push that pedal. Burning all that gas.
Burning all that gas indeed, as we are watching Nick Shell down into the inside lane there, trying to catch up to that front pack there. These in-car camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. As you see, Alex Tallman has now shifted to his in-car camera view as he is overtaking Nick Shell on that outside lane there. Now he is leading that charge to that first pack, and you see him with a lot of speed, about to top out at 200. He did. He topped out at about 204 there on the speedometer. Had to slow down just a tad as he entered the corner, but he is catching that front pack there, and he got that lucky dog just a little while ago. He's going to overtake there. Keith following in that 09 machine, taking a ride on with Alex Tallman here in the 23 machine. We just spoke to him a little while ago. He picked up the victory at Chicago Land last week, and boy, he is putting himself in that position again here tonight at Talladega.
Alex, 202. Catching the back, now we move the seat, slowing down. That bit. Doesn't want to make that 3 wide just yet. Knows that's definitely the way to move yet. As the teammates to the cars in front, the 87 are behind. As we still have a 2-car pack. However, that second pack looks like it has damage there. This big pack running on the second line.
Talking about a big pack, it looks like that wolf pack of what we thought were teammates have now taken over the lead in those custom paint jobs. It is our pole leader now as the race leader. Boy, we have seen some lead changes here tonight at Talladega. We have a new race leader again here tonight. It has Bullock in that 62 machine now leading that charge around the track. But look at that, Funky Cole Medina in that number 9 machine is right behind him. And boy, don't lose track of that Purple Rain machine of Bob Carroll in that 27, because he is coming as well. And it looks like nothing has changed up at the lead as these boys have scrapped their way back up to the front of the pack. They are now leading this race down into 3.
One thing I want to point out is when you're leading, you're definitely burning a lot more. So as we notice, this is going to be more of when the leader's going to pit for that final pit stop. I believe we have two more pit stops. If I did my math correctly, I believe it was 66 laps on that restart. So we're looking at maybe 1 more pit stop. And the key again is going to be making on fuel.
And we saw that last week, Mike. We saw actually Alex Tallman run out of gas celebrating. So he had to be pushed to victory lane there in that 23 machine. We'll see if that comes into play again here tonight as we're taking a look at these leaders rounding around 3 and 4. We are at lap 90 here at Talladega. bringing you that live action out of the High Octane Sim series. We are live on 10-4 Broadcasting. We multi-stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So if you're liking what you're seeing, definitely give us a like, share, follow, all that awesome stuff. Back to the action here. We're watching Bullock really leading the way here.
We do see 4-3 about Tillman on that second line. We've seen him catch that field after passing, I believe it was 8th of Nick Shaw. It looks like he's coming towards the front.
I believe Kevin Bullock may be racing with a little bit of that Rocky Top magic here. He's racing out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, so he's rocking with a little bit of that Rocky Top magic here tonight. And he's showing it here in that 62 machine, but he has got some drivers behind him. Oh, that funky Colton Medina, I know. No, I'm not sure if he likes that or not, but I love saying it because, boy, that paint scheme just gives me that ice cold vibes, and it's just everything about that car screams funky Colton Medina. We'll see if he can get that car up at the top. But, boy, they are really making that dream with the team up at the top. One of the teammates are just rocking custom paint schemes all together because, boy, those paint schemes do look extra crispy here tonight. There's that flames on the side of those machines. Oh, my goodness, those things are extra crispy here on the track. But no, making it known, boy, that they want to put one of those custom paint schemes in victory lane. But don't look now. Here comes that 23 machine of Alex Tallman. He has found some friends on the outside lane, and one of them is Riley Lewis. That we thought kind of faded back there a minute, but now he has found some partners on the outside lane.
Ooh, we've seen that bump by the 20 of Ryan Lewis. You don't want to bump in that corners because you can push that guy that's in front, or even if it's 3 deep bumping, you do not want to do that in the corners. But the speeds they're going here, 197, 198, sometimes topping out 200. You see that paint is actually ripping. So wonder if that paint's going to survive. We've seen in the IMSA 12 Hours of Sebring, one of the Lexus cars, the wrap was coming apart. So that's a key thing here tonight. If the scheme is going to stay in one piece.
Boy, shout out to the artists for coming up with those paint schemes because we know how meticulous as we see action on the backstretch. We see one of those cars getting loose. Oh man, big action on that backstretch there. Is that 62 machine? Oh man, we'll have to rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay for it because that involved some of our leaders at the top of the pack. And man, that is disappointing to see out of those cars. And this race replay is brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. And man, I think we may have put the commentator's curse on there because just as we were admiring those paint schemes, we saw one of those cars get loose there on the backstretch. Take a look here now. Oh man. And that is Matthew Batby that actually got the crap end of the stick, if you will, of that situation there. We see some other cars tied up in there. Boy, what a way. Those boys might have to use that fast repair if they haven't used it yet, Mike.
Definitely. Trying to get a better view of this incident. I believe it was Allen. Just got loose.
And I believe you were mentioning that just a lap ago, Mike. You were talking about how a few cars got loose, and we've seen it really all night. But the boys have gotten a little loose and a little squirrely, if you will, but they have done a great job of keeping those cars together. But, boy, as you mentioned, racing at about 200 miles an hour here at Talladega, there's really no keeping that thing together once you get sideways. That actually really happened at the front of that pack, Mike. It was between the leaders. like it was Medina coming up on his buddy there in the 62, and just unfortunately, he just hit the wrong part of that fender there and sent his buddy into the wall. And unfortunately, one of the most strongest racers of tonight's race, Matthew Batby, who was just racing in the back of the pack there, just got the crap end of the stick, just got the cascading effect, if you will.
Yes, definitely. As we've seen, the drafting, you want to make sure you're staying off that right rear because, I understand that the drivers are trying to keep their engines cool by pushing hard and being aggressive, especially, late in the run, in the race, I should say. But as we've seen in 62, it looks like he did use his fast repair.
And that is the 62 of Bullock. And Bullock actually started on the pole here tonight at Talladega, and he was one of those cars that we were admiring that paint scheme there. But that paint scheme got a little scratched up there in that action. But he has taken that quick repair, and he is back racing there at American Badass Racing. You're racing it out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, using a little bit of that Rocky Top magic. He's 49 years old, and he loves sim racing. So I think we all appreciate those words and sentiments. I think we all love sim racing. And Mike is a iRacer yourself, sim racer, if you will. What are you starting to think about now with you're going to have, less than 54 laps to go here? Are you starting to think about different strategies? Are you starting to think about pit windows? What are you starting to think about behind that wheel?
Well, we seen last week, fuel strategy. I think if you're taking tires here, or even fuel, you're still gonna have to make more and more pit stop. It's just gonna be how long can you go on fuel. So yeah, I seen I think they going 30 to 40 laps before they end up pitting for fuel and tires. I believe that's the call I'm thinking. And the leader, of course, if you're leading, you're definitely burning a lot more fuel. This is going to be hopefully another fuel strategy race. If we get another caution, I think it's definitely going to play out a little different.
Of course, and speaking about fuel, we want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to our sponsor in tonight's event, fueling up all the boys there at Captain Jack's Smokehouse down on Amelia Island. They were going to do that finest barbecue and steak action that you can get your hands on. And boy, if you want some fuel to fuel you up, that's the way to go. That's how you get filled up right there, Mike.
Definitely, and I think they're going to be bringing us some barbecue up in the booth here next week. Definitely give that a try. Definitely enjoy some side-by-side action next week.
Oh man, if I can get my hands on some of that Captain Jack's barbecue and steak, I might not be able to do the broadcast. My mouth might be full of the good ribs and barbecue. I tell you what, Mike. But back to the action here as we are under caution, our 6th caution here in the High Octane Sim Series live at Talladega on 10-4 Broadcasting. Taking a look at that lead there, and it is Funky Cold Medina. I've actually been told by the chat he actually enjoys that nickname, so awesome. I'll just refer to him as Funky Cold Medina the rest of the way here. And boy, he has put that ice cold blue machine up at the top. Boy, he has got some competition on that outside lane. Alex Talman in that 23 machine. Taking a look at that top 5, it is Talman in that 23, Medina in that 9, Bob Carroll in that 27. Man, Bob's ran a really great race tonight, but he's got some competition right behind him. And Riley Hoots, Thomas is up there as well at P5. Staff is in P6. Ryan Willis is in P7. Brosker is in P8. Matthew Badby, boy, he has climbed his way back up into P9 after being caught up in some action there. And then Bledsoe is bringing up a P10, and that rounds out your top 10 here. And before we go back, Green, I do want to jump over to the chat and say, let's go KPM. Couldn't make it tonight. My buddy, that's from Matthew Wilson. Well, Matthew, keep an eye out on your teammates here. Maybe one of your boys can put it in victory lane, but we're about to go racing here again at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series. And boy, let's go racing. Let's go green, green, green. The big moves already on the first turn. A second to pause there as Alex Tallman goes to the outside lane, and he's getting a big run from Riley Hoots right on his back bumper and pulling on the backstretch. This is a tandem that the rest of the field does not want to see. This is the Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan tandem. A few guys have held it down the rest of the race, but they've never gotten a chance to link up at the top, and boy, they've linked up now, and they're starting to pull from the rest of the field.
But not so fast. Looks like we're going to have a run on the outside.
As you see Bob Carroll go to the outside there, as Mike was just mentioning, it looks like Bob has got some help. He's got to get some help. He's going to lose a lot of speed, but you see what that gamble cost you there as he's starting to fade away from the leaders. So you see him climb back up there. You will see him climb back up there if he finds some more partners. But in the meantime, it is Alex Tallman in that 23, Riley Hoots now in that tandem 1-2 down the backstretch.
Remember, we're still expecting hopefully one more pit stop. So that could be a game changer here towards the end of the race.
Watching Alex Tallman leading Riley Hoots to the start-finish line here. We're going to hit a lap 100 here at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series. But this is the Cup Series action here in this league. We are live on 10-4 broadcast, and we're multi-streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And boy, it has been a awesome race so far here tonight, Mike. I have lost track of the lead changes. We've had about 6 or 7 cautions here tonight, but it has been these two drivers that you see leading the way here, Riley Hoots and Alex Tallman, that have really been top dogs of this race so far. As you see Riley Hoots make a move to the outside, coming down into 3 there. He's got some help with Thomas on the outside. They're about to go 3 wide on the corner. That was a move there from Thomas to file back in without having to take out Riley Hoots there.
Thomas trying to make a move on the inside there. Thought otherwise of it.
And like as we see Riley Hoots leading that outside lane down into the backstretch, about how long do you have in the simulator to commit to those moves, and how long does it start to dawn on you that maybe the move wasn't made at the right time?
In this pack race, you've really got to trust your spotter, but sometimes you don't have the capabilities to see every Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. The Cup guys do where they have a live spotter. So one thing is you gotta have the mindset of a spotter as well as a driver. Do I make that move? Do I try to make it early? Do I try to make it late? Each moment is different.
Each moment. Oh, good.
As we see problems.
Ooh, we're under caution again there, Mike. Is that Alex Tallman in that 23?
I believe so.
Oh
Looks like
man,
he
we'll have to.
Not hit nothing.
No, just had a solo dog crash all by himself.
We will check that out.
All himself. Oh, actually, no, he was caught up with Funky Cole Medina there in the 9. Just kind of clipped that inside fender there coming around the corner. Oh man, as we were talking about spotters there, Mike, the spotter must have fallen asleep at the wheel and not let Talman know, or Medina know that they were right on top of one another. And that's what happens when the spotters don't do their job and just saw some unfortunate racing there out of the boys. And I'm not sure if either one of them has used their fast repair or not, but we shall see if that's the case. And if it's not the case, you should see those boys just climb right back up into that lead pack.
Again, I didn't see him hit nothing except for that little spin, but we talked about it just a couple laps ago. Make sure you have that spotter. Did I make it too soon? Did I make it too late? And it looks like Alex tried to make it too late.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate, Alex, as him and Medina were really racing awesome races so far, especially this 23 machine who seemingly picked up where he left off at Chicagoland. He was trying to go back to back here like Drake, but unfortunately it might not happen for him tonight as we are less than 47 laps to go here at Talladega. And as we have a second to do so, I will see if I can't get our points leader, Matthew Batby, on the radio here to see what his take is in tonight's action. Hey, Matthew, it's Will and Mike up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yep, got you.
Hey, man, you were on the points leader so far in the season. You were racing definitely like it so far in tonight's race. We're seeing some really competitive action. We're 7 cautions in and about numerous lead changes, man. How are you feeling the pace is going so far for you?
We're doing really good here. All of our KPM guys and Schaefer guys working together and making good runs and working together. We're doing pretty good today.
We spoke with Riley Hoots there. I believe that's your cousin, and he was talking about how he's taught you everything you know, and we've kind of surpassed him in skill. What kind of skills do you think it's going to take to close out this race here tonight?
I just know that we need to work together, and I think that if you are the guy behind the leader, I think you're going to have a really big chance coming into the last lap. So if you can get a really good run out of 3, you have a really good chance at the win.
Definitely, and hopefully we see you get this 89 machine into victory lane. And as I mentioned, you are the points leader so far in the season. What do you think it's been so far that's put you at the top of the table?
I definitely think the wins have definitely helped me. I haven't done so well in the stages, but I've gotten a couple of stage points, so I think that's helping me, and hopefully I can continue to stretch it out a little bit.
For sure, and we'll see if you can pick up the victory here tonight. And we're hearing the word of the day is teamwork. Do you feel like the teamwork is going to be the way to victory here tonight?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Working together is definitely the way to go tonight.
For sure, man. And before we let you go, any sponsors or anybody that you might have watching you here tonight that you want to give a shout out to?
All my family and all the KPM and Schaefer guys.
Awesome, man. And we hope to speak with you in victory lane. We're going to be less than, I believe, 46 laps to go here, man. And good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
That was Matthew Batby, who is currently our points leader right now, and Mike, man, he is if Riley Hoots definitely taught him everything he knows, it might just be a mix of driver skill and just practice.
Definitely. The one thing that I noticed, no more fuel out the window. These guys have enough fuel to get to the end, so you know what's going to be? It's going to be chaos towards the end. We're going to see drivers going back and forth, you know, fighting for that lead because they don't have to worry about that fuel.
We love to see that here at 10-4 Broadcasting, Mike. We love to see the scrappiness, the squirreliness, if you will, out of these drivers. We love to see the boys get aggressive in these simulators and get a little antsy on the wheel. We might see, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, one of these unknowns, if you will, pick up the victory here tonight. And as we have a second, I know we're less than 45 laps to go here, and I think both of our picks are seemingly out of this race. Who's a name that's kind of crept up in this race that you think might have a chance at the end?
Wow. Definitely a hard one to pick, but I think I'm going to go with the 51 of Kelly Thomas. He's been a guy that we've seen towards the front and hasn't really been pushing the issue just yet, but I think going to be the right price for the right time.
Definitely, and that is the place that Alex Tolman was last week when he got the victory. So, boy, that is a good pick out of you, Mike. And I don't want to picking the leader here to win, but I really like Riley Lewis in that 20 machine because he has raced a really consistent race all race long. Hasn't really been caught up in any trouble at all in tonight's race. Kept his car clean, and now he's leading the pack to the start-finish line here. Less than 44 laps to go here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega, and hopefully he puts that 20 machine into victory lane. But let's go back racing, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to go green, green, green. Big move right off the bat. As you see, right moves throw that back right in front of Brosker. It looks like it's going to cost him a lot of speed. Brodesker's going to take the lead down into 3, led by Matthew Backby right there in the 39 and Ravens in the 24. And Brodesky got a lot of speed right behind him. And Brosker has been one of those cars that have been up there as well in this race, keeping that 3-car record. Should be up in front. He's going to lead the pack down into 3 and 4 here. But he has got a rocket behind him. These rockets are faster than what Elon Musk is putting up into the sky. And we'll see if one of those rockets can get past Brosker here, who is now leading the pack here to the start-finish line here in that 3 machine.
Remember, Jeff Bezos But as we see a rocket, this one, and number 3 is out front.
And that is a rocket that we all love to see at the front. That 3 rocking that Wrangler blue and yellow paint scheme, but the good wrench down the side. So a good mixture of those Dale Earnhardt tributes. Not sure if that was on purpose, but we do enjoy seeing that 3-car where it should be, and that's leading the pack here around 3 and 4 here at Talladega. Well, he's doing a great job of holding off those rockets, if you will, of Matthew Badby and Riley Hoods, who have scrapped for that lead all race long. But they have got a new competitor leading here across the start-finish line. But you see Matthew Badby kind of stick his toe in the water to see how it felt. It kind of pulled back a little bit. So you might see a move out of him here coming up in the next few laps.
And actually, that on the hood of the number 3 car is actually America Online, if you remember that back in the day. America Online is where you always get those memes of connecting to dial-up connection. Something that I would never want to live again.
Oh boy, I am just old enough to know about dial-up internet, and I think the generation after me is going to be only known for, was it not dial-up, but I can't even think of what came after dial-up. It's been so long, but I remember AOL Messenger, and you couldn't be on the phone at the same time as you were the internet. So boy, you've come a long way, and coming a long way in this race. Really less than 40 laps to go here at Talladega, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a shootout here towards the end. And unfortunately, Eli Raposa, who was racing a really great race here tonight, had to retire due to his son's car breaking down, and that is unfortunate to see Eli having to drop out of there, but hopefully his son is okay, and Eli will pick up with you next week here in the High Octane Sim Series. And great race out of Eli here tonight, and unfortunately family always comes first here in Iracing. Back to the lead here, watching Brosker in that 3 machine, picking up some laps here in the lead here. Mike, is it just, do you think the cars behind him are just kind of waiting their turn?
Yeah, we got about 40 laps to go, 41 laps to go to be exact. Just buying their time. One thing that I'm curious to see what's going to happen is who's going to be the first one to duck out and make that move.
Let's see who is going to make that move, take that gamble, take home that prize, because we've seen it here tonight. Cars go to try to make that move, and if you don't have enough speed or you don't fully commit to making that move, you can really get shuffled back in the pack and running this snake line, if you will. If you remember those old Nokia phones with snake on it, if you start to jet out by yourself and you don't have a teammate following you, it could really cost you the race here in these late stages.
Oh, and speaking of breaking out, we see towards the middle of the pack there. I believe that's your pick.
He is
Coming up
crept.
the outside.
He has crept all the way back up from that back in the back there. I seemingly thought his night was over with being caught up in that incident, but boy, was I wrong. He was making me eat my words there in that 23 machine. We see the 3-car get loose there in the first stretch. She is shuffled out to the outside there, keeping that car away from the rest of the pack there, and that is great racing out of him to make sure he doesn't take out any of the field. As we see a new change in the lead there. Briefly, it is Matthew Busby now leading the way of Matthew Hoots right behind him, but don't stop me now. Alex Tallman is coming on that outside lane there. He is trying to take that lead back after being caught up in an incident just a few laps ago.
As we see, 3 wide. 3 battling side by side.
Seeing that out of the car, in that 3-car, we saw it, Mike. You get a little loose and you drop out of that snake line, and boy, he has lost a lot of positions. He went from first all the way down to P12 in less than a lap and a half. And boy, once you get out of that draft line, it is, like I said, it could almost cost you the race here. We're going to be crossing the line here. Lap 114 here in the High Octane Sim Series here. We're live on 10-4 Broadcasting, and Mike, we have seen lead changes almost every couple of laps here. Nobody's really seemed to hold it down. We saw that the 3-car there hold it down for about 3 or 4 laps. Just got caught up, got a little loose. Now he's lost the lead, and another lead change here in the High Octane Sim Series.
As we talked about the 41 laps to go at the time, you know, it's going to be chaos because people want to make sure they want to get that last couple of moves and see if they can hold it.
And we like chaos here at 10-4 Broadcasting. We like excitement. We like bumper rubs. We like guys getting shoved out of the way, but only in the best competitive way possible. We don't want to be having any black flags here in the High Octane Sim Series, but boy, they are racing like they want this points championship. As you see, Riley Hoots really close that bubble, really pushing Matthew Badby from the back there in that 89 machine. We spoke to Riley just a little while ago, and the key word of the day, cue up the Sesame Street if you will, and that's teamwork. Every driver we spoke to so far in tonight's action has all mentioned that same word, and that's teamwork. You want to find those guys that you want to work with, those partners. You want to find those guys to do karate in the garage. You want to find those guys to get samurai swords signed by Randy Jackson to win this race here tonight, and you're seeing it out of Matthew Badby and Riley Hoots, who are cousins and family members, but boy, that might go all out of the window here as the late stages of this race start creeping up here, Mike.
And we see the outside line trying to form up. The 23 is still out there, but he's got help this time in the 45.
You see Talman coming into your picture there with a lot of speed coming down the backstretch, but that speed might dwindle down just a little bit there as he lost his partner there coming around the corner there. He might be wise to just shuffle back in behind Keith Fallen there, or if he can get past Keith, kind of slide behind the 51 machine of Thomas there just to kind of hold his position, because we still have a long ways to go here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. You just don't want to make those big gambles now and lose a bunch of positions and have to claw your way back up the pack. As we're watching a big run out of the 24, getting a big push out of that 42 of Bledsoe there. And Mike, that teamwork that we were mentioning, is that what Riley's really implementing to make sure that he doesn't pass Matthew here with all that speed? He wants to stay behind his back bumper?
Yeah, definitely. When you're behind him like that, the car's definitely going to get very different. You also want to make sure your temps, are not overheating. Trying to get out there and get a little bit of air, but do not want to push it too much. As we see, looks like we're going to have a new second place leader here.
Alex Tolman has really got a lot of speed on that outside lane there, coming down the backstretch. You'll see if he can overtake Matthew Badby there. And he is getting a strong push from Riley Hoots there in the 24. Taking a look at the back bumper there of, I believe this is Alex Tolman. These camera views are brought to you by 10-4 Broadcasting. You're watching that 45 machine really give a few rough taps to Alex Tolman there, and you see he might be overtaking the lead here from Matthew Badby. You see out of the corner there, Matthew Badby's 89 machine is getting passed by, and we have a new race leader once again, ladies and gentlemen. That is Alex Tolman now leading the way in that 23 machine. Staff in that 45 is right behind him. I love seeing that number 45 back on the track. I know Kurt Busch brought it out of retirement, but that used to be Adam Petty's race car number there, and rest in peace to Adam Petty. So it is awesome to see that 45 back on the track. I know Kyle Busch raced it for a little bit, or not Kyle Busch, Kyle Petty raced it for a little bit there before he retired, so it's awesome to see that number back in the mix of things, and hopefully we might see that 45 in victory lane there, but I don't want to speak too soon and put the commentary curse on him, because he does have a lot of speed creeping up behind him, but he has got a great partner to work with up in the lead there in Alex Tolman.
Now it's take the victory from last week. We got about 32 laps to go. We'll find out here on 10-4 Broadcasting. It's the outside line starting to form up with teammates.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be less than 30 laps to go here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. So if you are wanting that time to go grab a snack, to go grab a drink, it might be that time to go wander to the fridge to get those snacks, to check on those college basketball scores, and come back to this race action, because these things are just now heating up here. This oven has been on preheat most of the race here, but this thing is on full blast now, and things are about to get spicy.
Alex is going to have a battle for the lead. The 62. Meanwhile, teammate behind. Yes, teammates. Looks like each driver has the opposite teammate in front of them. Definitely interesting move here.
They're making those big money moves, if you will. But Alex Tolman is trying to go back-to-back like Drizzy Drake here in the High Octane Sim Series. But boy, he has got a lot of competition there on that outside lane there. I believe that is the 62 machine, or the 27 machine of Bob Carroll is right behind him. But this is the 62. I believe the 62 might be a lap down. I'm not seeing him come up on our screen there, Mike.
I think you are correct.
62. He is not a lap down. He has just gotten that lap back, but he is registering P17 on our grid here. So our race leader is still Alex Tolman in that 23 machine, but he has got the Purple Rain machine of Bob Carroll there in the 27, who has shown a lot of speed here in tonight's race. He showed it at Chicagoland. He's showing it here again tonight. He is showing you what he's got in that 27 machine. He wants to put that purple machine in victory lane here. He's got that Funky Cole Medina machine right behind him in that 9. Man, they have done a great job of really staying consistent throughout the race. They kind of faded back a little bit into the pack. There was a few incidents there on the backstretch. But boy, they have kept that line. They have kept that teamwork, that camaraderie together, and they have shown it here tonight as they are back up into the top 5. And Mike, we are creeping up on that 25 to go mark here in the High Octane Sim Series here, Mike. And what have you seen so far with less than 25 laps to go that you think is going to play a big role in the finish of tonight's action.
It's going to be who can stay cool under pressure. That's going to be a number one key. We see leader Alex there with three teammates not around him, but second, third, and fourth with a lap. Well, the guy back on the lead lap right in front of him. So I think that's going to be a good key here to the finish. But patience, talked about last week. Is it going to be a patience to the end, or are we going to get more aggressive? That's going to be the key, and where the aggressiveness is going to start.
I believe the aggressiveness has to start pretty soon here, Mike, because next time across this line, we're going to have less than 25 laps to go, and if you're going to make those moves, if you're going to start taking those gambles, I believe you're going to have to start counting those laps to when you want to start applying those strategies and start making those passes, especially for these cars outside of the top 5. You're looking at Matthew Badby in P6, Riley Hoots in P7, Brosker in that 3 machines all the way down to P8, Bledsoe into P9, and then Thomas is in P10. You're going to have less than 25 laps to go here, and these leaders seem to just really have gotten that line down on the inside lane there, a lot of speed. So if you're going to make those moves, make those gambles, that clock's starting to tick those for those boys outside of the top 5. Taking a look at the leader leading them around here. That is Alex Tallman in that 23 machine, making that 23 proud there. Shout out to Michael Jordan, who's the original of that 23 number there. I know UNC plays tonight against UCLA for a little March Madness action. Big shout out to them. But a big shout out for Alex Tallman. Didn't really lead much in last week's action at Chicagoland. He led the lap that counted, put that car into victory lane, and he has showed out here tonight at Talladega. I think he mentioned to us, Mike, in that victory lane speech that he loves these super speedways and he couldn't wait to get to Sweet Home Alabama here.
Yeah, it's said last week it's debating about running. And guess what? He's on the verge of going 2 for 2.
And I learned from my years in school, Mike, that if you second guess or you go back on a test, it's usually the wrong answer. So good on Alex for sticking to his gut and deciding to race in tonight's action. Because, boy, it has paid off in dividends here tonight. We are less than 24 laps to go here at Talladega, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do the High Octane Sim Series here live on Tenfo Broadcasting. We're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we have brought you quite a treat here tonight. We've seen multiple lead changes, about 8 or 9 cautions so far, Mike, if I'm not mistaken there. But it has been Alex Tallman and these colorful paint schemes that have led the way here in tonight's action. We have seen the back bumper of these colorful paint schemes, and shout out to the artists for making these paint schemes here tonight, because, boy, up in the booth they are looking extra crispy, but looking extra crispy and spicy is Alex Tallman as he is going down into pit road here, Mike.
Yes, I was just going to report that we did see last lap a couple of people come down pit road. It looks like Alex does have a friend coming down pit road this time. As Bob Carroll takes the lead.
I think Eli Raposo, before he jumped out of the chat there, I think he called that and said that they will have to pit one more time here as Bob Carroll is now our race leader. We see a new race leader again here in the High Octane Sim Series here live from Talladega. That is Bob Carroll leading the way in that 27 machine, but he's got Funky Cole Medina in that 9 machine right behind him. And then it looks, they might be teammates, but they're rocking cool paint schemes here tonight. It's showing right behind him, but then they are now going down pit road. Yep, they decided to commit to pit road there. I thought we might have seen a little bit of trickery there out of those boys to see if they wanted to stay out. It looks like that whole team is going to go down pit road as we see another change at the lead here. It is Riley Hoots now leading the way here, Mike, and I'm seeing a little bit of back bumper damage for Riley.
Yes, talked about it about 2 cautions ago that we noticed front nose bumper damage. as well as rear. So looks like on one of the restarts, someone got a little too trigger happy and bumped from behind or bumped from in front and chain reaction.
Now, do you think waiting to pit and not pitting with that the lead pack there? Do you think these boys still have a chance at this race with going to be about less than 20 laps to go once this field gets reshuffled here?
I think they're also hoping for caution to come out. To be honest, I think it's either one lap or between or after, or one lap before. But you can never time it correctly. So I think this might be a bold strategy. We'll have to see if this plays off.
Quite a bold strategy indeed, Cotton. We shall see if it pays off here in the High Octane Sim series. Taking a look back at Alex Tallman here, he is leading staff right behind him. I believe this is, once this field gets reshuffled here and everybody makes their pit stops here, we'll be able to accurately report who the leader is. But I believe we're taking a look at the leader here, and Alex Tallman, once everything gets reshuffled and he passes these cars re-entering the racetrack here. Of course it is. It's back to Alex Tallman leading the way here. It looks like him and staff are going to be solo dolo here, locking down the backstretch. Boy, Mike, I'm not liking that gap there building up on the rest of the pack here with less than 20 to go. What a 2-second window right now, but those boys are filing up together almost like a Transformer Power Ranger metamorphosis. All those awesome terminologies that you could use. They're forming up that line to try to get up there as quick as they can. Almost reminds me of speed skating in the Olympics, the team one, where they all have to kind of pair together to get enough speed around the corners, and you'll see if they can close that gap. You're starting to see that window start to shut already with about, you're seeing those seconds tick off that lead pack since it's a 2-car versus 4-car tandem. And Mike, that window is now only about, I'm looking at about 2 seconds right now.
Hopefully we'll see lap car get his lap back the hard way.
I think we might have a change of the lead again, Mike. As that 4-car tandem just blew the doors off of Alex Tallman and staff there. Boy, that happened fast, and they're coming faster than Elon Musk rocket back to that landing pad in the ocean. They're now leading the way here, and that is Funky Cole Medina leading the pack here, working with their lap teammates, trying to secure the bag here at Talladega. We're less than 19 laps to go here in the High Octane Sim Series. You see Alex Tallman file right behind Keith Fallon there. He's trying to find his window. He's trying to put his machine in that spot like he did last week at Chicagoland and kind of let these boys race each other, make mistakes, and he'll just slide right in to take that victory from underneath them. He's trying to go back-to-back on Jesse Drake here at Talladega, at Sweet Home, Alabama. Some 18 laps to go here at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series, live on 10-4 Broadcasting. And Mike, we have been keeping an eye on these boys here all night long. Do you think one of these teammates is going to have an opportunity to put one of those machines in victory lane, or do you think Alex Tallman's going to slide through like he did last week?
Well, we also have the 45 back there as well. And then Keith Fallon as well as an underdog. But, I think, the teammates up front, you've got a 50% chance whether it's going to be one or the other. Or if not, actually 75% chance. It's going to be one or the other, but then if there's a caution, one of them gets your lap back. This is definitely a bold strategy in how they're playing this out. 17 laps to go.
And bold strategies and do pay off, Cotton, as we saw the average Joes win the Dodgeball Championship, and we'll see if one of those girls can win this race here tonight at Talladega, the High Octane Sim Series. And boy, we're keeping an eye on Funky Cole Medina in that 9 machine. He has ran a really strong race all race long. Mike, I haven't seen him drift out of the top 10 at all, I don't think, in tonight's action. And boy, it would be quite a win for him tonight.
Most definitely. After what happened last week, I think he's due for that win. I don't want to put the curse on him, but I'm still going to stick to my guns. Anything can happen here in the last 16 laps.
They've shown that key word indeed of the day is teamwork, as these boys have seemingly locked out of the rest of the field. It might be these guys versus the rest of the field, as Alex Holman has really just solidified himself right behind Keith Fallon. As you see some speed building up on that outside lane there, is that Matthew Badby leading the way on the outside there? Or is that the 42 car Bledsoe? It's the 42 car Bledsoe with Badby right behind him, and boy, they are coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. And if Alex Holman wants to go with, then that might be the move to kind of slide out to the outside there.
Definitely try to make a run on the outside and get that line started a little bit. But again, the hard way.
We're at the late stages here at Talladega. As you see, the 42 car Bledsoe kind of get right behind Talman, but I don't know if that's the move there for the boys, as we are less than 15 laps to go, as Medina is still leading his teammates there in the lead pack. They're coming around 3, going down into 3 here. It is still Medina is the race leader, and you're starting to see that choppiness, you're starting to see that aggressiveness starting to build up out of these boys, Mike.
Yeah, it's definitely just late in the run, 15 to go. I think nobody's holding back this time. This is definitely going to be an interesting couple laps here. Maybe, I'm thinking maybe one more caution.
Oh yeah, Mike, I'm sure we shall see a caution the way these boys are running. All it takes is just a little mishap on one of those fenders, and we're going to send somebody into the wall, whether it was on purpose or it's not an accident. Things happen here at super speedways. We shall see here as the boys are now side by side. We saw them racing that Nokia snake line there for a while, but the boys are now side by side, and Keith Fallon has emerged on that outside lane there. He's racing for the lead, Mike. He has seemingly come from about 4th or 5th to now racing for the lead in about a lap.
Oh yeah, we should P3 last, or actually P2 last week, so that win here tonight.
Now, as you were mentioning bold strategies, that's 62 of Bullock. Would it be wise for him to maybe file out to let one of his boys kind of lead that charge so that he's not blocking any of his teammates that are on to lap down?
I think he's in a good spot, because if there is a caution, whether it's right behind him, he will get that lap back. I think that's what the team is definitely hoping for.
He's seeming to be a blocker, if you will, for the rest of his teammates now, as Keith Fallon's now leading that 09 machine to the start-finish line. He's going to lead this lap here, less than 12 laps to go. It might have been Bledsoe there at the line. That was about a photo finish there. That lap, 13 laps to go here is Bledsoe in that 42, Keith Fallon at 09, side by side into 1 and 2. It's going to be a drag race on the backstretch there between the 42 and the 09. We'll see if anybody files out there to make a big move on this backstretch, because the time has come. The time is now. Time is running out, and it is time to make those moves here in the High Octane Sim Series live at Talladega. But you see Matthew Badby is knowing that his time is now, and he's starting to ease on that back bumper of the 42 going into the corners, and that is a sketchy move, Mike.
Yeah, definitely in the corners. You don't want to be on anyone's bumper, because you could definitely lose it depending on how steady they are at the wheel.
There's been a new change at the lead again. Mike will have to get that statistic for everybody at the end of this race at how many lead changes we have, because I'm sure that is way double digits, maybe 20 or so lead changes here at Talladega. Again, we have another lead change as Keith Fallon and Bledsoe are racing side by side down the backstretch here. There's a drag strip. As you see a car start to file into the mid lane there, that is Bullock in that 62. That is not a place that he wants to be, especially with his teammates right behind him as Bledsoe in that 42. Is still your race leader, but they are side by side, door to door, down the front stretch here to the start-finish line here. Might be a photo finish here to see who gets this lap led here. We're going to be less than 10 laps to go here at Talladega, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last portion of this race. It is time to tune in. It is time to get this up on the main screen in your living rooms. It is that high-octane action you've been craving for all night long as we see Bledsoe in that 42 machine leading them down the backstretch.
If you're sitting on the couch putting this on the big screen, make sure you go and check out Captain Jack's Smokehouse, where you get your barbecue and steak needs.
That is making me hungry, Mike, and I'm sure these drivers are more hungry than me to pick up this victory here at Talladega, as we're seeing that 42 car really solidify himself as the race leader there on the outside lane. It might actually file back down into that inside just to go ahead and close that window on the rest of the field. And that's Matthew Badby in that machine, 89 machine. Broster's in the 3.
We're less than 10 laps to go, 9 to be exact. I still think it's a little too early to make a move if you're on the outside or on the inside. I think I'm going to give it maybe 2 more laps, and then I'm going to go for it, especially for those people in the back. As we've seen, teammates are trying to get hooked back up. We are 3 wide back there with the 23.
Go 3 wide with Alex Tallman there. Unfortunately, he has slid back down into P9, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 8 laps to go for Talladega. Oh, might have the caution. It was Alex Tallman. We see him get loose on that inside apron there, and that is going to bring out our 8th caution of the night here in the High Octane Sim Series. And boy, Mike, if that was a commentator curse, if ever you were just talking about him, and boy, he brings out our 8th caution of the night here.
See if I can pull that up. It's like some hard white knuckle racing. As the 87 came down on the 23. We talked about it. There's a damage in the right rear of the 23, which he's still in it. Could still make that good stretch run. But I think, according to my statistics, that one of the teammates are back on the lead lap. Looks like the 62 might get the lucky dog here.
It looks like Bullock will be that lucky dog here in the High Octane Sim Series, and that's going to work out perfectly for those teammates there, Mike. But he might have to shuffle back down into the back of the pack, right?
I believe so, depending if he does get the lucky dog here. We'll waiting on race control to give us that acknowledgement.
And boy, Mike, with going to be probably less than 4 or 5 laps to go here in the High Octane Sim Series live on 10-4 broadcasting, and we see the leaders go in for some pit stops here, but it looks like Bullock is going to stay out, and he's definitely going to get that lap back now. But look at that, Medina is going to stay out as well, and it looks like that 42 of Bledsoe is going to stay out, and Matthew Badby is going to stay out as well. So big moves there at the top, but Medina is going to stay out all by himself there. Maybe that's going to pay off here at the end, as we're going to probably have less than 4 laps to go here. And as you see, Bullock is going to get that lucky dog here. Get a little bit of that Rocky Top action racing that American Badass Racing. and we've been keeping an eye out on him and his teammates all race long here. We are at the closing stages of this action here at Talladega. We've been live on 10-4 Broadcasting, and if you've been liking what you've been seeing so far out of 10-4 Broadcasting, definitely go give us a like, share, follow, all that good stuff. We multi-stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, so all those great channels to catch all this iRacing action out of the High Octane Sim series here. Boy, Mike, this race has seemingly flown by here. 150 laps seems like it just went up in flames there, and boy, we are about to come to the closing stages of this race, and a few names that we've been calling out the whole race are back up at the lead pack there. Bledsoe in that 42, Medina in that 9 is leading the way. Matthew Badby, who we spoke to, who is our points leader right now, he's in P3. Brosker is in P4. Riley Hoots, man, what a race out of him. He picked up a stage victory here tonight. But boy, I know he wants a race victory to get him into the top 10 of the points. We also have Bob Carroll in P6, Thomas in P7, Keith Fawn in P8. Hey, look at your boy back up into P9, and he's racing straight out of Compton, P9. And then Staff is going to bring up our top 10 so far. And boy, Mike, I would say the window has now just about shut for anybody. I'd say about 7th or 8th place down, I would say, in my opinion, because we're going to have about 4 laps to go, unless we have a big one here at Talladega, which we're always guaranteed to have.
Well, look at it this way, I still think someone in the back can still get a nice jump on the start. I'm not gonna say jump because I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but I think it's the word I'm looking for. It's on the tip of my tongue, but the confidence on the start to not miss a mark, be right on the guy in front of you, going into one, trying to make that move and make it fast. If you're in the back, I think it's what's gonna happen is you're gonna get that draft, you're gonna get that run. Coming at it too, you're going to get that big pull down that backstretch, and you're going to get that next position that you were looking for. But here's the thing, 5 to go. We're going to be 4 to go at the line, which means only one thing. Where's the chaos going to be?
The chaos, I think, is going to come off the restart, Mike. We've seen it out of the boys here tonight. We've seen people launch off the restarts. We've seen a few people get a little loose off the restarts. We've seen big runs off the restarts. I actually saw somebody go way out to the outside on the restart here, but I love what you were talking about there with the confidence. I think these boys need a little bit of that Miami Hurricane swagger, if you will, and shout out to them playing in the Sweet 16 here tonight. They need to have that swagger to them. They need to have the inner confidence to know they can make the move, to commit to the move, and hopefully put their machines into victory lane here tonight. But boy, big shout out to Funky Cole Medina in that 9 machine, Mike. I don't think, like I mentioned before, I don't think he's faded outside of maybe the top 10 at all, top 5 if I'm going too far out there. He has really ran a consistent race all race long, and boy, it would just be a tip of the cap to put that Funky Cole Medina machine into victory lane. But he has got some competition on that outside lane, led by Bledsoe in that 42, Machine and Brosker in that 3, and I believe that's Bob Carroll in that 27. So a lot of speed on the outside lane there. But we're about to go racing again here at Talladega, and this should be about it, unless we have another caution here. We're about to go green again here at Talladega at the High Octane Sim Series, and ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is time to go. This is time to make those big money moves. This is time to secure the bag, and we're about to go green, green, green.
As Medina gets that jump on that start. Go. We talked about there in the restart.
Oh, and they touch doors coming out of 2 between Bledsoe Bledsoe just touched shores with the 42. He's leading the way on the outside there. You see Riley Hoots go down almost below the... So we have a wreck between Brosker and Hoots there on 3 and 4. Multiple cars are caught up into this. Wow, that is calamity corner down there on 3. We knew the big one was coming at some point, Mike, and that was a lot of big names caught up into that wreck.
Wow, that was intense. We called it right there in the start. What would happen? It's who's going to make the move and when it's going to make it.
Wow, Mike, we have our 9th caution of the race here in the High Octane Sim Series live from Talladega. And boy, for some of these drivers, it has not been Sweet Home Alabama in no shape or form here tonight. But we'll go ahead and rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay for you and see what happened there. As you see Riley Hoots kind of ease that yellow line there and just was getting really aggressive, really wanted to put that Rainbow Warrior machine into victory lane here tonight. Just made an aggressive move to go low and just ran out of room there. And unfortunately, with how fast these cars have been racing all night long, just didn't have anywhere to go. And Mike, you mentioned it, on some instances they're hitting top speeds of 200, so just see just that little bit of tap and it's just going to cause a cascade of incidences. And I think these boys were just checking up and just caught in the rest of this stuff. And boy, that was a shame to see out of Riley Hoots, a guy that really raced really strong last week and couldn't put his car into victory lane. And again here this week, ran a really consistent race here, other than the last bit of the race here, but we'll see if he has anything for the boys next week, because it seems like his night might be over in the 24 machine. And taking a look back up at the lead here, it is Bledsoe in that 42. And boy, Matthew Badby is in a prime position on the outside lane here. We might have a green-white checker to finish this race off.
Definitely waiting on confirmation to see if there's going to be one green-white checkered or is this going to be multiple attempts. I believe it's going to be multiple attempts. Yep, 3 green-white checkered options. Hopefully we'll have to use that here tonight.
Boy, Mike, I really feel like the key to this victory is going to be on that restart. We saw it at Medina, but what happened is once he got by himself, I mean, it's just you lose so much speed if you don't have a partner working with you. And what I would like to see is on these restarts, if somebody can link up with a great teammate, that might actually be the key to victory, because your teammate might be the one pushing you across the start-finish line.
Oh yes. There's one guy we haven't talked about all day. I know we said during the broadcast that he not supposed to have an R in the end, but guess what? Nick offered. I think he's going to be the underdog surprise. Who knows? I might come out to win.
And big shout out for Nick for having us here at the High Octane Sim Series. We appreciate you allowing us to come on board to broadcast these races for you guys. And boy, it has been a treat for us up in the booth here. We do appreciate this opportunity to bring this action to the live screen for the viewers here. And boy, you guys do put on a show here in the High Octane Sim Series. And again, special shout out to Nick Alford, who is the league admin here in the High Octane Sim Series, the Cup Series. And we appreciate everything that he does for this league. We appreciate him bringing us on, and it has been a treat for us so far, Mike.
Most definitely. I think so far the races that I've done in the past, this is gonna be one of the top ones up there. Especially after last week, our first race comes down to fuel mileage. When do we ever see that? We barely see any fuel mileage races, but guess what? That was a treat last week, and guess what? This is gonna be a treat for you tonight.
I think, Mike, at the conclusion of last week's race there, it took you a second to realize the race was over because we got caught up in watching it for a bit there. So that just shows how competitive this action is, that the broadcasters get caught into actually watching the race other than calling the race. shows what these boys have here in High Octane Sim Series, and we'll see if you pick Rick can get out there. And he was in a pretty good position there on that top side lane.
Yeah, so lucky he didn't get collected in that incident. I know he did get collected early on in the incident towards the start of the race, but a lot of these boys, guess what? They're back in the race. We're ready to go here. Just like they say, you know, you're here to make a name for yourself. Super Speedway action. We'll see a first-time winner, or we'll see a repeat winner. Looks like the green flag will be coming back out here very shortly.
And throw up those threes in tribute of Dale Earnhardt, because we have 3 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. But the next time across this line, once this pace truck pulls off, we have less than 2 laps to go here at Talladega here in the High Octane Sim Series. We'll see who's going to get this jump off the restart as this pace truck's leading him around 3 down into 4 here. And boy, once this green flag drops, you'll see these boys shoot out of this restart like a cannon. Boy, we've seen it on these restarts here towards the end of the race here, Mike. These guys start going really fast on the restarts, and we saw on that last restart, Medina was all by himself, but once they hit that backstretch, he started fading back and just got caught up with Riley Hoots. So we'll see if anybody can keep that car forward, stay with their teammate, stay with that tandem, take home this victory here tonight, because it is time to go. It is time to shoot away. It is time to make those moves. It is time to throw all those strategies and all that family love and teamwork out the window. It is time to securely take home that victory here at Talladega. We're about to go racing again here at Talladega in the High Octane Sim Series. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go green, green, green.
As we get the green flag, that leader is definitely looking for the start finish next lap 5, because that would be the white flag.
See Bledsoe in that 42 leading that inside lane around 2. Coming down into the backstretch here is Brosker and that 3 car right behind him. We see some speed building up with Bledsoe in that 42. We see if he has enough going down into 3 and 4 there. Taking a look at the back of the pack there, but 42 car of Bledsoe still leading the way there. But you see Matthew Bagby is now our race leader there on the inside. The 42 car is now on the outside, starting to fade back just a little bit. That tandem might not be strong enough on the outside lane. There's only 3 cars as there's a 5-car tandem on the inside. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the last car. It's time to go. This is the white flag. Whatever happens on this next lap here, Mike.
And the winners have taken the white flag, which means we are in the final lap. And this is presented by Octane. Get all your speed needs. Speaking of speed, guess what? I hear they're going for barbecue after this race. Guess what? They're 88 and 3. They're trying to get there first.
Matthew Bagby's leading him down the backstretch here. He's still a race leader there, but it's Bledsoe in that 42 giving him a run for the money as they're coming down into 3 and 4 here. Bledsoe goes in the middle lane. He's going to lose some speed there in the middle. So Matthew Bagby in that A9 machine leading the way here to the start finish line here. See the 3 car spin behind him. Matthew Bagby is going to lead this charge to the start finish line here and see if he's going to take home the victory here at Talladega. It looks like he is free and clear, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Matthew Bagby is a race winner here at Talladega. Maybe not, though. I'm seeing some different names at the top of the grid. We'll have to go ahead and rev up that 10-4 broadcasting replay to see who this race winner was here at Talladega. Boy, what a finish that was here. I couldn't call it, Mike. I thought it was Matthew Bagby. It was coming out of my mouth there, but I'm not quite sure who took home that victory because that 42 car came with a lot of speed on that outside lane there. We'll have to check out to see who actually indeed took home the victory here tonight. And it is going to be Matthew Bagby in that 89 machine. And big shout out to him and congratulations on a huge win here at Talladega.
Actually, I think you're wrong. I think Alan Bledsoe did take the win. I believe there was a penalty for Matthew.
Do we have confirmation of that? Do we have a confirmation of a race control penalty?
I am still waiting on an answer for that. My scoring polyon says it's the 42 that has taken the victory.
Ladies and gentlemen, we might have some late race controversy here. It looked like Matthew Badby was the one that crossed the line first there, but it looks like the 42 machine of Bledsoe is going to be the race winner here. Do we have a yellow line infraction there coming to the start-finish line?
Not 89 did have the lead.
So we might have to check in with race control to see who the winner of tonight's action really was there. From our eyes, it looked like Matthew Badby was the one who crossed that line first there. If anybody is in the chat here watching this stream, if they could maybe shout out to say what they saw there at the end, or if they have a confirmation from race control of who this race winner was here at the end. It looked like to us Matthew Badby was the one that crossed that finish line first, but we might have some controversy here, Mike.
We're going to wait on race control to give us official word.
But boy, nonetheless, whoever the winner is between Bledsoe and Matthew Badby here, what a race out of the two of those gentlemen. Whoever picks up the race victory here tonight, they have both shown out. They have both laid it down on the track here. Both those cars really ran in the top five the majority of the race here tonight. And the big ups to both of them, whoever won this race. Whoever didn't win the race, it's still a P2 for them, so still a solid finish to whoever finished second. But we are still waiting on confirmation from race control to who our race victor here tonight was.
Can we get Nick in our chat so we can verify this?
Offered in here. Hey Nick, this is Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You're the admin here at High Octane Sim Series. We were just wanting confirmation of who actually picked up the race victory there.
Matthew Badby.
There we go. We saw Bledsoe being registered as P1 there, but we weren't sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to go back and look at it, which that'll probably happen tomorrow. But what I'm looking at now with the event results on the website, Badby scored P1.
Alrighty, well there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We do have confirmation of a race victory here, but it seems like it will be under review here in the next couple days. But like I said, whoever finished second, still a solid finish out of them. We appreciate that confirmation out of you, Nick, and thank you again for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
So officially, we do have a race winner, Mike.
Yes, the 89 of Matthew Badby. I do apologize your last name. We just had to get confirmation from race control to verify.
Looks like those two gentlemen are enjoying each other's company there at the start-finish line. We do appreciate that sign of sportsmanship out of those two drivers. And boy, like I mentioned, both those drivers left it all on the track here tonight at Talladega. They both ran a really solid race between the two of them, and they worked together. And boy, even if it is under review, whether or not, it was still a high-octane race here out of the High Octane Sim Series, Mike. And man, we had everything here tonight, except for that fuel mileage game that you love so much. But we had, I can't even count how many lead changes. We had 9 cautions here tonight. We had leaders that led the way most of the race with Alex Tallman. Riley Hoots was up there as well. They got faded back just due to track incidences and things like that. But Matthew Badby was just the racer that kept his car up there majority of the race. We spoke to him on the radio after he picked up, he's actually our points leader right now. He said that the victories have really helped him in this season to get that points lead as we watch him burn it down here in Sweet Home, Alabama.
I think we're going to be pulling up our race winner here shortly.
Taking a look here, Mike, that is going to be Matthew's third win of the season here in the High Octane Sim Series. He is our points leader, and boy, he has a lead. He had a lead of about a point on second place of Parker Collins, but it looks like he might pad that lead a little bit more there and kind of extend that lead out a little bit more and pick him up that race victory here. And boy, he is pulled away from the rest of the drivers here in the High Octane Sim Series with 3 wins on the season. The next nearest guy only has 1 win. So boy, he is really solidifying his place at the top of the table here in the High Octane Sim Series. We can't wait to speak with him in Victory Lane. But in the meantime, let's see if we can't get our third place finisher, Nicholas Compton, in here for an interview. See if we can't catch up with him on pit road. And we'll see if Mike's got a copy with him on pit road. Hey, Nick, it's Will and Mike up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
What's going on, people?
Yes, sir. It's Mike catching up with you on pit road. Mike, go ahead.
Hey, Nick, how was your race so far?
Oh, man, we just hung out in the back, expected that late caution like there always is, and kind of bailed us out in the last part of the race.
What did you think of the race overall? Did you think it was clean? Did you think it was chaos towards the end?
I mean, the first 145 laps were pretty clean. And when caution came out, everyone picked at new tires. I assume because I did. I just, based on the strategy, there's going to be one more, maybe 2 more cautions for a green, white, checkered, and it kind of bailed out for me in top 3.
Now, did you guys take tires towards the end of the race? If so, did you take left or rights? Did you see any tire wear difference?
I mean, tire wear did play a little bit of a difference, I think, like coming out pit, because when we had those long stage runs, when I didn't take tires, I was really slick coming out pit, get onto the backstretch. So I don't think tires played that big of a factor, but they were when you're trying to enter in pit on a green flag run.
Looking forward to next race. Do you guys think you can come home with a victory?
Man, I really hope so. That's the plan every week.
What do you think was the key moment of this race?
That very late caution on lap 145, around that area. I was about 25 seconds behind. I was actually about to probably get lapped. And when that caution come out, it kind of bailed me out and gave me a top 5 finish for it. So,
Any sponsors, people you want to thank watching the broadcast here this evening?
just James Journey Racing and all the sponsors like Ron's and Fat Boy Crafts and Matheny Electric.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us here, Nick, and look forward to what you have in store for the viewers next week. And boy, P3, we saw you kind of come out of nowhere there. You kept it clean there at the late race action, and congratulations on the podium finish here tonight.
Man, thanks for talking to me.
Of course, always. That was Nicholas Compton. He finishes P3 here tonight at Talladega, and Mike, I know you're cheering on the other Compton here in tonight's action, but it was Nicholas who comes home with the podium finish here tonight. We'll see if we can't get our second place finisher, Alan Bledsoe, in here for an interview. He comes home P2 here tonight. See if we can't get a copy with him on pit road. Hey, Alan, it's Mike and Will up here in the 10-4 broadcasting booth. You got a copy there on pit road?
I got a copy, guys.
Man, coming home P2 here tonight. I know there was we were trying to figure out who actually won the race there. It was between you and Matthew Badby, but man, P2 still a solid finish here. How do you feel like that race went for you?
Well, there was one point in time where I thought I was doomed, and then, got back up there with all my teammates, and we pretty much dominated the race. I mean, not gonna lie, Kenny Powers Motorsports and Schaefer Enterprises, we were up front pretty much the entire time, working together perfectly, and it was just awesome teamwork between all of us. But so I actually did the teammate worthy thing, and I counted us down to the restart, and I actually had a better jump than Darren. Speaking of whom, I need to thank Darren for keeping me up there as long as he did. Those pushes there at the end. Thank you, Darren Stapp. That was spectacular pushing. So I really do appreciate that. But yeah, there at the end after the 3 got turned, I saw that the 89 was was basically by himself at that point. So I tried going ducking down low, see if I could get a run, but I didn't have enough. So ended up second. I can't get a win in this league, guys. I feel like I'm so fast, but I just can't break that barrier.
We are feeling the frustration. I think Riley Hoots is in that boat with you as well because he ran really good at Chicagoland last week and also this week as well. So I'm sure he's feeling your pain as well. And talking about that domination that you guys had, was that sort of the plan coming into tonight's race of if you guys can get linked up in that lead pack, then you guys can basically lead this race through and through?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, and we're kind of going behind the scenes here, but there was a little bit of talking poo on the Discord in the in our season 3 kind of suggestions, and we just wanted to show everybody what we're capable of when we're all working together, and we wanted to prove to everybody that we're here and we are going to dominate. Like, it's just congrats to Batby. I feel like I got one taken away from me, but you know what? That's fine. I'll take a P2.
We saw that nice act of sportsmanship there at the end of the race. Is there anything you like to share with us that you might have told Matthew there at the end, or is it just congratulations?
It was basically just a congratulations. I mean, Riley and Batby, those two, you guys have obviously been talking with him all race or throughout the race, I guess. And you know that they're cousins. And
Oh yeah.
Batby he's fast, man. He's real good. He everywhere he goes, and I mean, the 3 of us, I feel like we've been doing pretty good together, racing each other pretty hard the last few weeks, and yeah, I just wanted to celebrate with my team. That's all.
That's an awesome. I think that word of the day was teamwork out of you boys. And how you feeling? I know you're a little kind of, I wouldn't say frustrated, but a little disappointed finishing P2 here tonight. What do you feel like is going to be the key next week heading into that race? Is it going to be a little bit more of the same of dominating the race?
Uh, yeah. I mean, that's the hope.
Right.
I have to actually check what the next race is. Do you guys know?
Let me give me 1 second. I'll get that information for you. It might be
Kentucky. It's
Kentucky. Yes, sir.
So, I am okay at Kentucky. I can run up front, but yeah, I've never raced in the Cup cars in this sim, so it's gonna be kind of interesting. My first time at Kentucky in Cup, but yeah, it's gonna be more of the same. We're gonna try to dominate the race and obviously have 6 drivers up front.
And that's the key to victory. You guys are almost like the Hendrick Motorsports of this high octane sim series here. And before we let you go here, congratulations on the P2 finish. But anybody that you might want to shout out, any of your sponsors or anybody you may have had watching here tonight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've got so many friends that are watching this, and I'm hoping they're still watching it. But I'd like to thank Darth Vader for all the support he's given me, telling me to stay off the wall and quit running out of fuel. And and Silas, I think might be his first time watching. But my dad, especially my dad, he is my number one fan. So yeah, I've got several people that watch. I'd like to thank ATD for letting me put their brand, their logo on my car. I work for them, so I feel like it kind of makes sense. And I mean, of course, gotta thank you guys. You guys did a fantastic job in last week's race. And I really look forward to watching this one because it was a lot of fun to be a part of. I bet you guys made it even more fun to broadcast.
No, you guys are the ones that put on the action, and we just report what we see. So the more high octane the action is, the more fun we have here up in the booth. So we appreciate everything you guys do on the track to provide awesome content for everybody that's watching.
Well, we certainly appreciate you taking us on then.
Of course. Well, Alan, we appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate with your teammates. I know P2 might not have been the finish that you were wanting here tonight, but hopefully we see you in victory lane next week.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You as well. And Mike, that was Alan Bledsoe coming home P2 here tonight. What a run out of him. He was speaking about how he just didn't have enough to get to that finish line. It was almost the same sentiments that we heard out of Riley Hoots last week.
Yes, I think disappointed he didn't get the W, but just knowing that he was able to finish and grab some points definitely was a bonus.
And talking about bonuses, I know who's going to get a big bonus here tonight, and that is Matthew Badbeat. And we'll see if we can't get our race winner. He is down in victory lane celebrating this big victory here at Talladega. And Matthew, I know you were busy celebrating down in victory lane here. I know everybody's giving you high fives and handshakes, and I know Bledsoe just gave you a good congratulations as well, coming home P2. Man, what a win here tonight, man. Take us through what led to that victory.
Well, I knew I had to get a really good restart on Allen, and I definitely did that, and I had help from James, my teammate, and he pushed me all the way, and I just pulled it off. I am really, really happy.
I imagine so, man. You have raced a really consistent race throughout this race. I don't think we ever saw you fade outside of maybe the top 8 or top 5 there at all throughout this race. You really raced a consistent one. Speaking of consistency, now you have 3 wins on the season. The next nearest driver in this series only has 1. And you were speaking with us just a little while ago how these victories are adding to your points lead here. How confident are you going into next week knowing that you're starting to pad that lead a little bit?
Very confident. I know I have that little buffer probably to the second place driver, so just keep building it up, and if I have a bad week, it doesn't really matter for me, so I can just drive and go win more races.
We've heard from the drivers all night here that teamwork does indeed make the dream work. Do you feel like that was your key to victory here, the teamwork that was taking place on the track?
Oh, yes, definitely. The call-outs with all of us here at KPM and Schaefer, and the pushes and all the tandem drafting we did tonight, it all paid out, and one of us got to victory lane, and I think most of us got in top 10, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, taking a look at some of your teammates here, Darren Staff finished P8, Riley Hoots finished P4, Alan Bledsoe finished P2, and of course you take home the race victory here tonight. And man, you are just rolling right now. Do you feel like you can continue this confidence and continue this winning streak into Kentucky next week?
I sure hope so. I've never ran a race at Kentucky, so I'm definitely going to have to practice a lot and save tires and learn the track, and hopefully I can pull another one off.
We shall see, man. I'm taking a look at those point standings. I don't think you have a finish outside of the top 10 at all this season. I know this is only our second race with you guys, but you are showing that consistency is key. And before we let you go, get back to celebrating there in victory lane with your teammates, anybody that you wanted to shout out, any of your sponsors, anybody that you might have watching here tonight?
All my family, everybody at Schaefer and KPM, and every sponsor that's on this car.
Sounds good. And we got a good view of that car while you were burning it down there after picking up this race victory. And Matthew, congratulations here on the big win. And that's 3 wins on the season. And I'm looking forward to see what you got the rest of the way here. And we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you guys, and thank you guys for taking us on and commentating.
Of course, thank you guys for providing all the high octane action. And again, congratulations from us up here in the booth. Man, Mike, that was our race winner, Matthew Badby. He comes home the race victory here now, and he has 3 wins on the season. Doesn't seem like rest of the field really has anything for him here in this high octane sim series.
Well, looking at the rest of the schedule besides next week, the following week they go to Daytona. But we're not going oval racing, we're going to the road course. So I'm definitely looking forward to next couple of races. Kentucky definitely can be a great race. Definitely good for fuel strategy. You know, pin at particular times and try to push it to the end. The road course is definitely going to be something I'm definitely going to be interested in and keeping my eyes open and peeled and hoping to see what kind of outcome that's going to bring in.
I am excited for that race as well. I have yet to see any of these iRacers or iRacing cars take on a road course in any capacity, whether it's the Road to Pro Series or anything like that. And speaking of outcomes, we'll go ahead and run through these race results for you right now as we have them on the screen. Of course, we just spoke to our race winner, Matthew Badby. Coming home P2 is Alan Bledsoe. We just spoke to him as well. Those are teammates. So it's awesome to see those teammates finishing 1-2, almost like we would see in Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby. And P3 is going to be Nicholas Compton. I know you're cheering on for the other Compton there, Zachary Compton, but one of the Comptons does come home with the podium finish here. Riley Hoots, man, what a way to climb back up into the top 5 after that late race incident there. He comes home P4. Nick Shallow is going to be P5. P6 going to be that your pick there, Mike, Zachary Compton. P7 is going to be the admin here at the High Octane Sim Series, Nick Alford. P8 is going to be Darren Staff. P9 is going to be that funky Cole Medina machine of the 9 car. Good on him to climb back up there as well. And Kevin Bullock, man, Mike, he was a lap down, and he goes from a lap down to finish in 10th. We'll go ahead and let you go ahead and round out the rest of that field there for the viewers.
So finishing in P11 is Derek Sherring. James Brosker is in P12. Kelly Thomas, P13. First car, 1 lap down. Bob Carroll involved. These guys are involved in that late race caution. P15 is Keith Fallon. Alex Tellman, your guy right there. Finishing P16. P17, Robert King. P18, Ray Lewis. Try to bring up the rest of the page here. P19, again, I apologize if I get your name wrong. It's Eli Raspo. And Derek Line did not take the green flag. Looks like he did not qualify this evening. The officials look like did not pass post-qualifying inspection.
And man, Mike, what a race it was here tonight at Talladega. And we have brought you this live action out of the High Octane Sim Series. And boy, Mike, this race had everything you could ask for. I lost count of the amount of lead changes we had. We had wrecks to start the race. We had multiple car wrecks. We had a big one towards the end of the race there. We had cars come a lap down, climb back up into the top 10. We saw Matthew Badby and Alan Bledsoe really, as Alan talked about, those cars really dominated this race. I know we got confused with the paint schemes of trying to figure out which ones were teammates, which ones weren't. But in the end, it is 2 teammates that finished 1-2 with Matthew Badby and Alan Bledsoe. And man, Mike, every time we call one of these races for the High Octane Sim Series, it is high octane, no pun intended, until the very end. And boy, Mike, I don't know about you, but these last two races, I think we've been spoiled with some excellent racing here.
Most definitely. So far, first race, what happens? We get a amazing, amazing finish. This race, Talladega Super Speedway, that we never expected to see another. Hopefully, it was at the time a first-time winner, but late race caution brought it out. So we've seen a repeat winner. What's going to happen next week? Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
We shall see, Mike. I am excited for it as well, but that is not the end for us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, as we will be back live tomorrow night, bringing you action out of the Powerhouse Racing League. That is a little bit of a Saturday night action here. Will be live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then catch us again on Sunday night, as I will be joined by our wonderful producer Tim in the booth here, bringing you action out of the Big Show, bringing you the Big Show 125. I believe we'll be back at Talladega, bringing you that action. But for the action here at the High Octane Sim Series, it is Matthew Badby who is the points leader, picking up his third victory of the season. And before we go, of course, we can't leave giving a special shout out to Captain Jack Steakhouse for being a sponsor of tonight's action here, providing all that excellent barbecue and steak. And Mike, if the rumor is true, if we're getting this next week, man, I better bring my bib and my wet naps, because I am ready to dig into that Captain Jack Smokehouse barbecue. Special shout out to them. Go give them a check out on Facebook or on Google as well. And if you like the action here at a 10-4 Broadcasting, go give us a like, share, follow, all that good stuff. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But for all of us here at 10-4 Broadcasting, I've been Will, joined by Mike. And Mike, we appreciate everybody for tuning in here tonight for 10-4 Broadcasting, getting that as Matthew Badby picking up the victory here at Talladega. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. We hope everybody has a wonderful night and a great weekend.